kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Well, good morning. It's not the morning. Good evening, everybody. I'm used to doing the morning show. This is GreenBean. This is the Thursday thick of it. I am in fantastic, constructive spirits. I can't wait to dig into this shitstorm that is the New York Jets offseason. Look, man. At least they didn't wait, right? Just why give us any days to be bored or, wallow? Get right to it. Let's start the offseason like the New York Jets do, and I'm happy about that. Whether or not I agree, we'll find out shortly. That's inconsequential, though. It's about having shit to talk about, and the Jets, they never disappoint. That's our team. The offseason has begun. Welcome to the most exciting part of the year for New York Jets fans, and I couldn't be happier about it, especially after 6 straight losses and no friggin' touchdowns and Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco show. So, guys, before we get into this, I want to remind you, I'm still not at 10,000. I'm like 54 away or something like that. If you have not subscribed to the channel, now is the time. We're going to give this away tonight. As I told you in other streams, the winner did not claim the prize. This is the Weed Whacker from Manscaped, the nose and ear hair trimmer. So we can win that, but that's only going to subscribers, and I have a t-shirt here to give away as well. Don't forget to like the video if you are enjoying it. That helps a great deal too. And we have our membership, the Stream Beaners. I came on today, and the first thing I saw was a membership from the Stream Beaner. I think it was Fozzie Bear. I don't know where he went. But anyway, guys, we have a surprise for you tonight. Frankie is not with us. He's not here. This is 2 weeks in a row. Frankie from Flatbush cannot make the stream, so I went out and I found a guy that I've been looking forward to really digging into some Jets with for a long time, and I think we're going to have a good-ass time tonight. Let's say hello to Situation Report himself, Mr. Gunny Gumby. What's happening, man? Thank you for coming on.
Hey, GreenBean, look, man, this is an honor, and I, too, have been waiting a very long time to potentially have this opportunity. I am glad. I mean, again, I love Frankie, but I'm glad he couldn't make it tonight. I got to go ahead and be a sit-in. So I appreciate Frankie for bowing out this evening.
That's it, right, man? Hey, dude, every window, right? Every door that closes
opportunity.
Is a thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So good. Look, we're going to have a good time tonight. As always, we have Jets Chaos in the back doing his thing. And I just saw him. He just popped in. Y2K, the Wicker Man himself. He's here being all spooky, Wicker Man-esque. He's in there. And we're going to get that going later on with some trivia. And he'll be helping us with some stats and all that jazz. But so let's start it with this. Now, I see everybody in the chat. I want to say hello real quick. But Gunny, after I say hello, I'm really curious, man. I just want to very briefly get your take on the season. We were 6-3. Fucking lost 6 in a row. We ended up 7 and 10. It's very Jet-esque. So let me say hello. But when I'm done, I really want to find out your overall view. Are you crushed? Do you still see progress and all that jazz? So we'll get to that in just a second. But that's what I'm going to want to hear from you. Hawk is in the house. I don't know if you saw this though. Derek Carr popped in. Gunny, he said he doesn't want to play in the cold weather, so that's important. It's important. You got to ask him. That's
gonna matter. That's gonna matter.
Like we're all over here, like he can do this, he can do that. Derek Carr, I don't want to play in cold weather, so that's important to know. Hawks in the house. We got Anthony G here again. Thank you for coming by, Anthony. Mitt Flair's here with our buddy Harry. I just heard Harry tore his rotator cuff, Gunny. That's not good. Harry, who was he was going to try out for the Mets pitching rotation this year again. He tries out every year for the past 62 years. They told him no, but he's trying out. Now it looks like he can't make it. Harry, we're crushed. We're here for you, buddy.
Hey,
We're
Harry, hope
here.
the rehab goes well, brother. Hope the rehab goes well.
Yeah, man. Travis Preheim is here. New York Jets super fan. What's up, familia? Yeah, Derek Carr. I'm into it, man. Scott Wilson's here, and so many others. Bogachuk's in the house. He wanted to see Frankie, but hey, we don't always get what we want, Phil, and that's what it is. We're gonna be happy with the show that we have for you guys tonight, I promise. And no stream would be complete or could even start without the Jets Forever Green Heart. Now, once he puts out the Green Heart, after that, all bets are off. He's going to piss everybody off. He's going to go for juggler. He's out there. But I love that he starts every single stream with love. And that I appreciate, man. Jay-Z Jets fan is in the house. Our buddy Hank is here with Finger Lakes Jets fan. Good to have you guys. Wild Wave is here. And so many others. Now I'm going to have to catch up, but let's start with real quick with Pooch Guy Bean. JD has to tighten up the ship. Too many sources, not as tight sealed as previous years, and paying Brees is what does GTG mean? What do you gotta? What does that mean, Gunny? Can you translate?
Good. That's good to go. Brees is good to go.
All right, this is nice. All right, good. Thank you. When I have just a bunch of old men in here, we don't know what the hell's going on. I'll give both ACL. Right. Well, look, we have Pooch Guys willing to donate his ACL. That's pretty nice of you.
I'm with him.
Now, yeah. Well, let me say this. I'm gonna. As far as the leaks, you got to remember there are teams contacting the Jets, right? So they're checking Lafleur's availability, all this kind of stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean that that these guys are getting information from the Jets. They could be getting it from the other teams, from Mike Lafleur himself. There's all sorts of potential avenues that they can get their information. And the truth is, they were wrong for hours. I mean, they predicted, or they were saying that this happened for what, 12 hours, 10 hours before it happened. So I don't know. In my opinion, I'm not too worried about the leaks. You worried about JD's ship kind of eroding, Gunny?
Not at all. Not at all. I do believe that I got my own opinion about this whole situation in regards to Lafleur and whatnot and having all these particular offers, et cetera, et cetera. But I do not believe in the slightest bit that JD's ship is all of a sudden going into a year where every move he makes is going to be freaking criticized and looked at and analyzed. That now all of a sudden he decides, yeah, you know what? Let's just go ahead and open the floodgates and let everybody know what's going on. I don't believe that's the case whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And I think that's a really great point. I think we got to brace ourselves for that. Every single move is going to be ultra criticized right now. And just look, we know it's coming, so we shouldn't get upset when it does. There's going to be tons of speculation, as there is every year. But this year, it's probably going to be even more so because we're going to be looking to see if this staff is on the hot seat, if they're one and done kind of thing, if there's a playoff mandate, all those kinds of things. So we're going to be digging into this guy, Joe Douglas. He better have his armor on this year, man, because if he thinks the Jets fans and the media have been kind of, after him before this, this is going to be this. There's blood in the water now, man. Now it's going to be totally different, and we'll see how it goes. But anyway, so hey, I wanted to check with you and see, what is your overall view? And I've talked a lot about it, Gunny, about, before the season started, we always say that, we would have been happy with this, that, or the other thing. But I think expectations did change somewhat when we were 6-3.
100%.
The fact that we only won one more game after that, there's no way to say it, but disappointing, right? But how do you look at it? Because there still could be a lot of positives depending how you choose to kind of, focus on this year. What's your overall take from what happened in the 2022 season?
So I'm glad you asked that question, GreenBean, because for me, I've seen a lot on Jets Twitter of just straight like this was a failed year. This year was a bust. Like get rid of the whole squad, start from scratch. Let's run this thing back with a whole new regime. And I got to disagree, man. Personally, when I first came into this season, I was expecting 7 to 8 wins. I said top end would be 10 wins. You know what I'm saying, with some assistance. And the ultimate thing I think the majority of logical Jets fans were asking for was, okay, look, can we just not have the season end in September or October? Can we get into like Thanksgiving and watching football and being excited about it? And we got until January to where we were officially identified as no longer in the playoffs. Personally, I don't see this season as a failure. Is it a disappointing season? 100% disappointing, because you're right. The goalpost moved a little bit when we realized we started off faster and hotter than the majority of us thought was possible. And to go ahead and go on towards the backstretch, to go ahead and just we were in control of our own destiny and we just coughed it up. And I think that to me was the most depressing and unfortunate part. But the fact of the matter is, this is still a team that was in the rebuild. The fact that we got, potentially 4 first-round level talents in Brees Hall, JJ, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, a couple of those guys I think are potentially all pros moving forward in the league. I think that shows you the direction we're going in is just purely positive. I cannot look at this season and honestly look at you and say, oh my God, it was a failure. There's no way. Like, we legitimately have core pieces right now on the roster that are telling us we're in the right trajectory. If we just had competent QB play, by that I mean like a top 32, a starting caliber NFL quarterback in the trenches this year for us, the Jets are in the playoffs right now. We're talking about wild card position in the playoffs. People don't realize that. We were at 7-10 right now without an NFL caliber starting quarterback.
Right.
When you sit back and you look at that, you just got to think, wow, okay, that shows you just how elevated the remainder of the offense is. The team is in general, when the most important position on the field isn't even an NFL caliber starting player. Like, that's where I had to look back and take back, and I'm doing my recap video as well for the year. But no, 100%, I don't think this year was a failure. A disappointment, yes. A failure, it was not.
I really like how you said that too. And look, it's not that we didn't have hope, right, for Zach Wilson. And there were moments, and we had hope for Mike White, and there were moments. And then, in the beginning, I'll be real honest, man. I was talking some shit about Joe Flacco getting a revenge game against the Ravens and all. Hey, man, I was in. You know what I mean? I'm ready.
I'm guilty as well.
That's the whole thing. It's like, look, it didn't really pan out. But I think by and large, like, you can talk about the offensive line, you can talk about, some the inconsistency from the receivers, whether that be the tight ends or the wide receivers. There was other issues, around the team. But the truth is, if we had a quarterback that could hit 65% of his passes and had more touchdowns than picks, we're in the playoffs. It was that close. Think about this, Gunny. Like you said, we talked about meaningful games in November. That's what we were saying. We just want meaningful games in November. We got it till the last week of the season, essentially, right? And now it sucked the way that we showed up to those games. We said meaningful games in December, and when sucks, we lost every single one of those meaningful games in December. Yeah. But again, the truth is, man, is that we did have those meaningful games. But even more important than that, from my perspective, is the fact that we had, I think it was 6 one-score losses. 6 one-score losses. In addition to that, our defense had 3 games where they held the other team to no touchdowns. None. And then there were a few more games where it was 1 touchdown or less. So even though we lost, and even though at times it really did look uninspired on the offensive side of the ball, and we were just like, what is happening to this team? There's a whole other side to it, and it is worth building on. There is a lot of building blocks here, and you mentioned the draft picks. I mean, shit, dude. This draft is going to go down like the Darrelle Revis, David Harris, one of those drafts where you look back and go, wow, we got all those guys in one draft, DeBrickashaw Ferguson and Nick Mangold in one draft. And I think that this draft is going to be one of those. Look, as long as they stay healthy, man. I'm so spooked. I'm afraid of jinxing everybody. Right, exactly.
I'm knocking on wood for you.
I'm glad to see you do that too. I do it all day. I'm like,
I do
every time I talk about the Jets. So all right, let's get to some. Now, Hawk says I seem pissed. I don't know what that. I'm in the really light, feathery mood here, Hawk. I don't know what that's all about. But there was another super chat from Brian Dolan. Thank you, Brian. He says, get some Gunny Ra. So look, you got some support in the chat here, Gunny. That's
Ra,
nice to see.
What's up, Brian? Now he's got to be a Marine. That Ra comment
right.
thrown out there means he's got to be a Marine.
I was just going to say that. Now there's a good chance that with you being a Marine household, it's not just you over there.
No, that's right. That's right. The Queen as well is a Marine as well. she's a little upset right now because her Packers blew it when it mattered the most. But personally, between you and me, I'm ecstatic to know that it wasn't just me in this household that caught an L, and I don't have to watch her in the playoffs. So, like, call me petty, but it's nice to see her sitting on the couch as well, watching these games just like I am.
That's right. Gunny, listen, man, if there's ever been a truer case of misery loves company, right? I haven't seen it. That's the truth of it. I become this fan, look, we're out. Now I start looking at who around me I can root for their pain. You know what I mean? I hate it when they're winning and I suck. It's the worst.
Yes.
But good for you. I'm glad. Now, how's she going to feel when we steal Aaron Rodgers? You think there's any realistic piece to that? You think that there's any realistic chance that we get Aaron Rodgers?
Before that last game, GreenBean, I would have told you there's just no way. I just don't see how they're going to make that work. But it almost seems as if Aaron Rodgers in that last game, the way he exited, right, the way he was pretty much caressing freaking Randall Cobb through the tunnel, the way he stated to, I think it was Jameson Williams, that he was going to hold on to this jersey, to this one particularly. Now, I know we're just trying to read between the lines and trying to find a reason to give us hope as a fan base. But it was awesome because up until that point, my wife didn't think like there was any way Rodgers was leaving. But after watching that game, she was just like, damn, I think he might be leaving after this year. And I was just like, yeah. And if he's leaving, he's going to come to us. Now, I do think with the firing of Lafleur, I don't know how that impacts or adjusts, that happening. But from my understanding is Aaron Rodgers wasn't always in this system, and he was always dominating before that too. So everyone keeps saying like, oh man, with Lafleur not being there, there's going to be an issue or concern. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. You could put him in any system and he's going to make it work. That's just what he's capable of doing. So I do believe there is now a chance from before that game, 0% chance. I'm like, man, there's a 10% chance that Aaron Rodgers could be a New York Jet next year.
Yeah, now it's interesting because you mentioned that last game where he seemed to place more emphasis on that being the last game than anybody saw coming. He was like, no, I want to keep the jersey, and he stayed around talking to people for a while. He was kind of sucking in the moment, and there might be something to it. Now, I don't know how the hell they're going to trade him. I mean, he's got, it's like $98 million in dead cap if they trade him. So they'll have to work something out, but there's always a solution. If they want to get rid of him and he wants to go and another team wants him, if it's us, they'll figure it out. I just don't know how psyched I am about paying a quarterback $45 million. But again, what do I know? We haven't had a quarterback in 30 years. So I don't know what that is. I don't even know what it's appropriate to pay quarterbacks anymore. I don't know what it's like to have a winning quarterback.
It's been a minute. It's been a while, right? Like, I mean, since Vinny, I guess you can say we've had somebody we felt like could go ahead and at least have some semblance of respectability. But I've been back and forth with a couple of individuals. Wickersham, Buffalo Jet fan, Jets Chaos. We've been going back and forth. Dom, we've been going back and forth quite a bit. And for me, I'm willing to go ahead and sell my soul for me to see a Super Bowl in my lifetime. And if that means it's going to cost us a couple of draft picks to bring in an Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, etc., I think I've come to the point now where I'm like, you know what? Yes, throw it all in to win now. And again, we're on track to build this team the right way through the draft. You know what I'm saying? Young talent, bringing them all in. But at some point or another, GreenBean, I think we can all agree we'd love to see a Super Bowl in our lifetimes. And there's no guarantee to one. We have a top 5 defense right now. Young up-and-coming offensive weapons in Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. I love our tight end room. AVT coming back to that offensive line is going to be a huge impact. I have to agree with Woody, and I rarely ever do that. But when he states that we are a quarterback away, I really believe we are a quarterback away. And a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson, we're talking about Super Bowl contenders vice just playoff appearances. That's the difference in terms of what we have out there as options.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look around the team, and look, as far as New York Jets teams with injuries go, the truth is, while it felt like we were decimated by injuries, this year has been a dramatic improvement from the last 3, 4, 5 years. Both of Adam 100%. Gase years, we were number one in IR play, players on IR. And it just, you know, what was weird about it is that the injuries were largely concentrated on the offensive line. It was weird. It was like every week another offensive lineman went down. We're going and, you know, plucking guys from the damn practice squads of losing organizations. Yeah. And look, and they're
free
coming
agent
in and
pile.
Dude, like, right, Remmers and Abuye and all these guys and 4th round picks and all the stuff that we went through this year. The offensive line still wasn't as bad as like the Sam Darnold offensive line, the Mike McCagnon offensive lines. And again, like the injuries were not as bad as we're used to seeing here. So if we had a quarterback that could just recognize where the open guys were in that 2.5 to 3 seconds, we're in the playoffs. I think it's that fine of a line. And a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I believe Derek Carr. I was in a discussion earlier with another podcast that I was on. They're real, you know, they want to bring in Lamar Jackson. I'm spooked by Lamar Jackson. $50 million, the injuries. He just he's unnerving to me. But that said, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, somebody of that caliber that has been consistently, what's the fucking word I'm looking for?
Good.
Yeah, consistently good. Right. Yeah, there you go. One of those guys, like, for us to have one of those guys where you're not watching them develop, going through their rookie, confusing little aspects of their game, they're making their mistakes. Aren't we tired of that? Just get a guy in here that's going to be, at least we know where his floor is, and see where this team, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, the fact that we can't find Elijah Moore in this offense, it's mind numbing to me, right? I think
that
Elijah
was frustrating
Moore on
to me
the Chiefs. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Elijah Moore to me, I was so underutilized, as well as CJ Uzama. I don't understand why you bring in a guy like CJ, who you saw assisted, Joe Burrow and his growth and his development that got those guys to the Super Bowl last year. And we don't start using him until the last freaking few games of the season. Like, what are we doing? And I don't know, more so if it's because he wasn't being utilized or if our quarterback just didn't see him get open. But man, one thing I will say is the All-22 film coming out was like probably one of the best and worst things that could have happened to us as Jets YouTubers and fans, because we're able to go ahead and now see that what the coaches see from it. And we're like, what the hell is this? And it causes more questions than giving us any, because I watched those things thinking, all right, maybe there was nothing that our offense could have done, because, there's no way we don't score a touchdown in the last freaking several games. Then you look at the game and you're like, nope, that's a touchdown. Nope, that's a touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
All-22, as awesome as it is, it's also been one of the most depressing and demoralizing, like things we have access to, because now we're watching the tape from the bird's eye view, i.e. the coach's view, and all we're seeing is like, how the hell did we miss this person, that person, this person? And like you said before, 6 games we lost by 1 possession. And we've seen, if you watch all the All-22s for this year for the Jets, you always found that 1 possession that could have been the game changer.
Oh, yeah.
And it was demoralizing to see it.
Donnie, there's a dozen plays in every single game that we left on the field. And I mean, like, left on the field, everything worked except for the quarterback, whether he didn't see him, whether he just flat out missed him, whatever it was. Like there was 10, 12 plays every single game that you can point to and go, dude, I mean, this is nuts. Like, how are we missing these types of plays? Yeah. And that, well, like you said, like the All-22, I hate even watching it sometimes. I didn't watch it the last 2 games. I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't stomach
Don't do
it.
Green Bean. It's not worth it.
I know there's just nothing redeemed. I'm done. I'm done with 2022. So our buddy Buffalo Jets fan checking in. He's insinuating that you are Frankie. You just stayed out and you got a little bit darker there. So
hey,
I don't know.
What I'm saying? Frankie with a tan. I'll take that. Frankie with a tan.
And he's checking in over here. This is actually a good question. We were talking about this earlier today too. Should we extend Bryce Huff before the league knows how good he is? Now, Bryce Huff, as we know, was an undrafted free agent. He also had, I think maybe his rookie year, I forget which one, but he had some injury issues too. But since then, the guy's been nothing short of phenomenal. This regime, for whatever reason, only uses him 6, 9, 11 plays a game. Now, they're looking at him as a situational pass rusher. Obviously, that's why they put him in. But as soon as he gets in the game, you notice his impact instantly, immediately. He's held. His first step is like lightning. Do you think that the Jets are going to value him more than maybe situational pass rusher? Do you think that they go ahead and get aggressive and lock him up, like Buffalo said, before the league starts sniffing around and going, hey, man, I'll pay that guy? What do you think the Jets do with Bryce Huff? What do you think they should do with Bryce Huff?
I'm a huge believer in Joe Douglas, and he's a guy that has an eye for talent. There's no way Bryce Huff leaves the building. I think Bryce Huff was, in fact, more effective than Carl Lawson, who's getting paid significantly more money than Bryce Huff. The dude got on the field, and he had quarterbacks and defensive linemen in a freaking spin cycle. Offensive linemen in the spin cycle. It was beautiful. He's too fast. He is fast. And I understand the concern is like, oh, well, in the run game, he's a smaller guy. We don't know if he's going to have any impact. I don't want to believe that until I see that. Like, you can tell me that all day. The reason why he's situational is because he doesn't have enough bulk to be impactful in the run game. But how do we know? I don't know about you. Have we seen him playing on rundowns? I don't see him playing on rundowns. They haven't seen him play on rundowns in live game situations. There's a big difference in the correlation to individuals who are practice time like stars and then game time stars, right? Like, right. I think a big portion of why Bryce Huff wasn't on the field early was because in practice, he wasn't showing what he's truly capable of. But on game day, on game tape, you see this dude is he's got the fastest get off of any other defensive end in the league.
Oh, yeah, man.
So I want him in the game to see him go ahead and try to stop the run. Now, if he proves that he can't stop the run, I get it. Situational pass rusher. Can't be a full-time starter on the defensive line. But until then,
like to see
I refuse to believe it. I want to see it. I want to see it that fast, that quick, that get off. I can see his recovery speed being a huge impact in recovering and getting to the runner of the ball. I just don't understand like how we're not utilizing this, or giving him the opportunity at least to prove that he can't impact the rushing game the way he impacts the passing game.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, number one. And who knows? Maybe he's devastatingly effective in the run game. You know what I mean? Like, who knows, right? But exactly. I think he's one of the reasons, if they do in fact let Carl Lawson go. As we know, he's got $15 million left in his contract. None of it is guaranteed. So the Jets could get out of that squeaky clean. Again, another positive of Joe Douglas, everybody. When we're looking for things to knock his legs out from underneath him, there's a lot of reasons to praise him as well. And one of them is the fact of the way that he sets up his contracts. In the event it doesn't work out, usually he can get out of it, no fuss, no muss. Yep. Carl Lawson is another one of those. So either we renegotiate him. I don't think we're just going to pay him, but if we decide to move on from him, Gunny, Bryce Huff is going to be one of the reasons that we do. You add to that Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens. I mean, these guys are players, man. And, Carl Lawson, while he might be better right now, maybe he's obviously been in the league longer. He's a vet, all that jazz.
More experience.
Yeah. But $15 million better? I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I think Bryce Huff would be one of the reasons that if they consider letting Carl Lawson go just clean, I think Bryce Huff's a good reason for that, man.
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
All right. Now, whether or not we're going to lock up Quinnen and Bryce Huff in the same offseason, I don't know. We'll get to the Quinnen thing. I didn't realize that there were so many Jets fans that are against giving Quinnen the big contract. I can't even imagine it. But there were I found out this week. Dude, Now, the justification, I always try to put myself in other people's shoes. I try to understand their mindset. Where are you coming from? Now, the mindset with not paying Quinnen is that he's asking for $9 million less than Aaron Donald, who's been in the league and been dominant and all that jazz for longer. And I don't know. I think, it's all relative. The salary cap goes up every year, and it's just part of the deal. He's the new young stud. He's entering his prime right now. He just turned 25 a few weeks ago. I mean, I don't see any reason to justify not paying this kid. If he wants $23 million, just give him the 23. Figure it out, work it. right? Give it to him, Gunny. I mean, yeah, right,
Like,
man. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I don't understand this as Jets fans. So we talk about how we don't do it enough, where we go ahead and cultivate our own homegrown talent. You have an elite talent like a Quinnen Williams, who is the heart and soul of the defense. We all saw the game he didn't play, how it impacted our defensive line. They could not get to the quarterback to save their life. This man is single-handedly taking on double teams, triple teams, and winning. And
winning.
He's passionate. He's hungry. He's a great character on the field, off the field. He's a leader he's doing everything you would want to be the face of your franchise. Why would we not want to pay this cat? Like, not only does paying him set a tone or a precedence that the Jets are seriously like legitimate, they care. They're impactful. They understand the value of great players, but it also shows the rest of that locker room, like, do your job and we're going to take care of you. Like, we do have that stigma as an organization to where, oh, you could do your job, but we might release you or trade you. That's the thing. Quinnen Williams isn't one of those guys we want to play this game with. And I understand we could probably get a couple of firsts for this guy. I understand he's got really high trade value. But what does that leave like in terms of Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, right? Like these guys who we bring in, Quinnen Williams was a G. He killed it for us. And they traded him for a couple of firsts. It doesn't show we appreciate nor care about what they bring to the table and that we're trying to go ahead and keep them here at home, which is the New York Jets. So Quinnen Williams paying him, it's not just about making sure he gets his money because he's as good as he is. It's because what paying him is going to signify to the rest of this young core who's grinding for this team right now during this rebuild process. Take care of your own, and your own will take care of you. That's very important.
Right. I agree. I think it's equally important, like you were just saying. What does it say? Like if we kind of, he holds out and we drag our ass signing him and we franchise him and blah, blah, blah. What does that tell the Garrett Wilsons and Sauce Gardners of the world? That's what my experience is going to be. And it could put a negative taste in everybody's mouth. And I think this has been the epitome, Quinnen, that is, of a player who's done it the right way. He said as much in his recent presser. He said, look, man, I've been here through the dark days. I've never complained. I put my nose to the grindstone. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But, I just kept going, worked. He's gotten better every single year. You look over his stats, there is improvement. Every year, he just got better and better and better. Now, here he is among the elites. He's 25. He's not 29. You know what I mean? He's 25. Lock him up, dude. 5-6 years.
5-6 years.
So real quick, Watsu gave us some stats I'll get right to you, Jet Engine. I see it and thank you. But Watsu, we were talking about Bryce Huff. He gave us some percentages on how many plays, how much of an impact Bryce Huff was in the games. And it's funny. I almost forgot the first 3 weeks. This team didn't even have him active. Remember that? I forgot all about that. They had Jacob Martin over him. So the first 3 weeks, he has a big fat goose egg. The following week, he was 14%, then 22%. He had a 29% and a 25%. Then he goes down to 18% again, 26, 21, 16. Oh, he had a 0% in there too, which is interesting. 25%, 22%. 28%, 8%, 10%, and then the last week, 18%. So it's really interesting. Like, yes, maybe he is, optimally used as a situational pass rusher. And maybe his impact is because he's only being used that way. Fine, maybe. But I think I'd like to know. I think he's earned an expanded role. I mean, look at him, dude. When you put him on the field, he's uncontainable, the guy. 100%. I think it's time.
And I think even
go on.
My bad. No, I think even like Ulbrich and Salah realize this too. Like, there's no way you're going to be able to go ahead and sit back, watch the tape of the year, and not realize the impact that Bryce Huff has had every time he steps on the field. Like, it was so blatantly obvious to us as fans. If you're a professional watching this guy, you understand if he leaves, if you don't get this kid locked up, like Buffalo was saying, you're going to be in a bidding war for his services. Like, it's just going to happen. Get this kid locked up now, and let's call it a day. Like, Carl Lawson, I don't think is going to be here next year. So if that's being the case, I think, like you said, the only reason they can feel comfortable with that is understand that Bryce Huff is going to be an impact edge rusher for this team.
Yep. And we haven't had one of those in a minute, guys. The fact that we have a few to choose from, again, that's Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh. You got to give it to these guys, man. We haven't had a real edge rusher in forever. The fact that we have a few, like, let's not overlook that, guys. Let's not overlook it. It's like not wanting to pay Quinnen. Like, we just find stud elite players growing off trees. Like, that's our history. Anyway, you take care of these guys. A Jet Engine checking in with the super chat. Thank you for sending the super chat in, but also thank you for being patient, Jet Engine. Changed up my pick for Gunny. What is that pick there? What is that? Oh, that's what is that? A Marine, maybe?
It's a Marine, I think. Is that a sniper rifle? Is that a 50? Is that a 50K Barrett?
I'm gonna have to defer to you, buddy. Anything beyond 9mm or like
see it too.
357 Magnum from the Clint Eastwood movies in the 70s. I don't have it, man.
It could be a Saw, but it looks like a Marine, potentially at Marine combat training, that MCT. Because we're not right now in any kind of combat situations where there's that much shrubbery and woods in the background. It's usually we're in the sand right now. So I'm going to assume it's Marine combat training for a Marine, and they're carrying the Saw with them.
Oh, I love it. And it's in your honor, Gunny. So I'm glad you have at least an idea of
Jet
what
Engine.
that is. It's funny because I can't even see it. Like, I honestly, man, you know what it looks like to me? It looked like a spider. Like a spider, dude.
I have to literally jump like down.
I don't know how old you are, buddy, but I'm getting old in a hurry over here.
Hey, I'm 38. I'm 38, so I'm not too far behind.
Yeah, well, dude, let me tell you, my eyes fell off a cliff at like 45. I can't see shit. I thought it was a spider jet engine. My bad. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, Gunny must like spiders. What do I know? So he says Mike Lafleur was not the problem, but he was a problem. Saleh's staff is too raw. Need an established offensive coordinator. Bevel Olsen would be solid. Munkin or Cliff, okay. Pair an experienced offensive coordinator with a solid pro quarterback and fire. What's that second thing? Is that a jet engine? Is that an engine? Is that a fire engine, Gunny?
It looks like it's a fire engine. Yeah, it's a fire engine.
Right. All right. Well, hey,
okay.
I think we get the point, jet engine, and I'm with you. I gotta say, like I was talking about it last couple days, I could make an argument to keep Mike Lafleur, and I think I would make a strong argument to keep him. But if you're on the side of keeping him, I could make a devil's advocate argument, a strong argument for why he should go. Like he's right there in the middle. And I think he said it perfectly, Gunny. He wasn't the problem.
No,
but he was definitely a problem. He was definitely an issue. And look, even if you just look at, he was tasked with, sadly, we lost Greg Knapp, who was going to be tasked with it, but he was tasked with developing our most valuable asset, which was the number 2 overall pick quarterback, Zach Wilson, and he did a terrible job. Whatever, maybe Zach's just undevelopable. I don't know, but he didn't do a good job. So we have to look at that. Now we're going to get into some of the specific offensive coordinator options out there, but very quickly, out of what he put on the list, we have Bevel, we have Olsen, Greg Olsen, we have Todd Monken, Cliff Kingsbury. If you had to pick from that group, which one would you go with? Or is that group just completely unattractive to you?
Now, of this group, I do like Bevel and Olsen. But if I can have my dream solution here, I think it's Reich. I want Reich so bad to be the offensive coordinator of this team. Like, I'm willing to go ahead and put money in towards the contract we have to offer this guy. I think Reich maybe not great of a head coach, right? We saw that wasn't his forte. Maybe he needs another couple of years or so, seasoning a little bit in a role that he has shown that he understands and he can master at the offensive coordinator role. And I do love the backstory of being a Jets quarterback. Like, all that comes to fruition. And I just feel like it's a perfect melting pot of I don't really know if the Jets are done with Zach Wilson. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they are. I think we've all seen enough in terms of like the flashy plays he can do off script. That is a huge benefit to why we all kind of fell in love with the kid. I don't think the Jets are willing to quit on him yet. I think they might want to give somebody else with more of a veteran presence to see if they can go ahead and squeeze any bit of juice out of Zach Wilson before they're really truly done with him. And I think with Reich in the game, we would know for sure. So if Reich isn't on the table, which I know right now he's looking at head coaching positions with I think the Panthers wanted to go ahead and interview him. I do like Bevel a lot, right? There's the history there. You know what I'm saying? Coach Holland knows him. He also understands this system, but he also has experience in different systems. So I think he could provide us a level of veteran leadership on that offensive side of the ball to where he can adjust, adapt, and be able to go ahead and go with the flow of a game, which I think, again, I'm with you on this, man. I don't think that we can look at Mike Lafleur and be like, oh, you're the reason why we were this, and this. But in the same token, we can say, like, man, you're kind of the reason why we didn't do this, and this. Like, it's one of those things where it's like 50-50. Somebody's head had to roll. Michael Lafleur's head rolling doesn't hurt my feelings. I understand why. But even if they had kept him on and brought in another veteran presence to kind of help him understand situational play calling, I would have been like, all right, I'm cool with it. Let's bring in another quarterback, though, because I don't trust him to handle that part of the game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so for me, if it's not right, then I'm definitely okay with Bevel. And honestly, Olsen is becoming intriguing to me, only because he wasn't on my radar for the video that I'm doing for what we want in terms of offensive coordinators. He wasn't even on my list, but I saw him pop up a couple of times today on Twitter. I started looking it up, and I'm like, oh, man, Greg Olsen, I don't know if I'd be opposed to that, right? This is a guy
he's my number one, I think. Olsen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to hear this, GreenBean. Go ahead.
That's my guy. Yeah, well, I mean, Frank Reich spooks me a little bit. I get it. I wouldn't be upset, and I wouldn't, but he spooks me a little bit, and I'll tell you exactly why. There was a chorus in Philly when Frank Reich moved on to take the head coaching job in Indianapolis, and the offense kind of sputtered a little bit down there in Philly, and a lot of fans thought that Frank Reich was the real juice behind the offense, and Peterson was a fraud and the whole thing. And he ultimately got fired, right? Now, we've seen Frank Reich in Indianapolis, and he had Phillip Rivers. Yeah, I think he had Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers. Then he had they traded for Carson Wentz, his guy. He had a good year as far as statistics go. I think 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, something along those lines. But they traded him the next year. It didn't mesh and it didn't work. And so they get his guy in here. And 1 year later, they're getting rid of him. They bring in Matt Ryan. Now he's the guy. And then they got, then that doesn't work. And they got Nick Foles over there. And that didn't. It's like, I don't know. It's like Frank Reich, while I respect I look at him as one of the better offensive minds out there. When I look at what he's done with quarterbacks, I don't know if I'm seeing it, man. It spooks me. It could be one of those fool's gold things where we bring him over here. Let's say he accepted the job. I mean, he might get a head coaching job, but in the event we brought him over here, I don't know what I've seen from him that makes me think that he's going to be able to turn Zach or run the offense to any effective degree, because Peterson, you look at him down there in Jacksonville and he's doing a bang up job, man. I mean, with T-Law and the whole offense, they look like they're hitting, they're firing on all cylinders. So I don't know. It's just, again, it's a little spooky to me, the Frank Reich thing.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Greg Olsen, on the other hand, the experience and look, and I got to be honest, if I had my way, I'm all Derek Carr. I love the consistency through all the tumult, 4 coaches, losing his wide receivers, terrible offensive lines, no defense to speak of. He's never had a defense higher than 20th. So that's, people don't like him. That's fine. But I like Derek Carr. And again, I like the fact that he's only missed, the most is 2 games. So usually it's 1 or he makes it the whole season. We don't have that. So I want that. And I think pairing Carr with Greg Olsen would be so good. Oh, it'd be so good.
Between you and me, I think Derek Carr is quarterback we're going to get. I think Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson are like pipe dreams. Like right now, the lotto's like $1.3 billion. You buy a ticket, you just start dreaming and imagining what you're going to do with the money when you win it. I don't believe that's the same thing right now with Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. That's the pipe dream, right? That's the, man, I got the ticket. I could win this. I think Derek Carr potentially is the most likely culprit that will be a New York Jet next year. And I kind of had that reiterated when I was looking at the Woody Johnson interview yesterday, I believe it was, or maybe it was today. And he breaks down like, was it today?
I don't know. I thought it was yesterday.
Yeah,
Maybe
I thought it was
today.
yesterday. Okay, but like he said it, like, hey, we're going to be heavy in this quarterback market. We're going to make a splash. So you heard that, and you also heard Coach Saleh say the same thing when it came to the QB question during his press conference. So I do believe if you're saying that, you're not going to bring us Jacoby Brissett, you know what I'm saying, or Gardner Minshew and validate that kind of a statement. I do believe they're going to be in the conversation with Lamar, the conversation for Aaron Rodgers. But at the end of the day, what it boils down to is I believe our guy is going to be Derek Carr. And I am not mad about that. I know, like you said, like I don't understand why some as Jets fans, we're a special breed because here we are talking about we don't want Derek Carr. He's trash. Have y'all seen the level of quarterback that we've motivated and stood behind for the last decade? Who are we to state we wouldn't want a guy who's, oh my God, he's consistent. He's consistently good. No, he's not great. He's not Patrick Mahomes. We're not expecting that. But this is a consistently NFL level starting quarterback. And we're like, oh, man, we don't want him. We are a special breed of fans, man, because I'm like, he would legitimately be the best quarterback the Jets have ever had since freaking the great Joe Namath himself.
That's the truth.
Upon putting on the uniform.
Yeah, dude, it's sad to say. Look, I loved Chad Pennington. The truth is, I'm a big Kenny O guy. I loved my guys. Don't get me wrong. But let's be real. We have not had a quarterback of that caliber since Namath, man. And it's the truth. It's sad, but it's the truth. So I'm with you, man. We're, like you said, we're an interesting bunch of folks over here in Jetlands. We'll support hot garbage, but we don't want greatness. I don't know.
So we got half of us all in on Strevler, but oh no,
I'm telling you,
we don't want Carr.
We're screaming Strevler. Holy shit, but we don't want Derek Carr. Oh, it's funny. Mr. Downtown checking in. He looks simple. He says, is the trade market reset because of Russell Wilson's bad play? So in an interesting way, this could harken back to the days where it was Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, like they were kind of resetting the running back market. There was a few years there where running backs weren't taken in the first round anymore. And then Todd Gurley and Melvin Ingram, or is it Melvin Ingram? I always confuse the defensive end.
You're right.
Yeah, so they got taken in the first. Melvin Gordon, there it is. I knew it. I feel it. I always I say it wrong no matter which one I'm talking about. I say the opposite guy. It's just one of those things I do. But so Melvin Gordon, they get taken in the first. They're doing really well. Todd Gurley got that huge contract. Le'Veon Bell holds out for his contract. And then what happens? They both get hurt. They both start to fall off a cliff. And the whole almost reset running back market fell off a cliff again because, everybody saw what was going on. Now, you look at the trade that the Denver Broncos got into with the Seattle Seahawks for Russell Wilson. And nobody batted an eyelash. It was like, okay, well, look, that's what you do. You pay $230 million. You give 3 first-round picks. And it has not worked out the way that they'd hoped. No. So does that change things? Do you think teams are like, hey, look, man, and then you got the Deshaun Watson thing over there in Cleveland. So do you think teams are like, hey, dude, look, I'm not giving you 3 first-round picks. I'm not giving you $200 million guaranteed. You think that has any bearing? You think the market's a little bit reset?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I like Mr. Downtown's perspective on this because you've got 2 high-name, high-priced veteran quarterbacks who were MVP candidates or Super Bowl winner or Pro Bowlers consistently, and you saw them make the move to different teams, and they, wow, right? Like even, I guess for at least in the case of not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson looked like he was straight hot garbage. I'm starting to really believe he was the beneficiary of a system that worked for him in Seattle. Maybe. I mean, Deshaun Watson situation though. This was the guy that we all watched in Houston thinking to myself, my God, this kid is just next level. He's on a whole other level. And I know he was out of the game for a year and a half before he played again, right? But you saw levels of inconsistency that we're seeing in Zach Wilson in terms of him missing passes. Like the simple things that that should be okay and normalized for an NFL quarterback. We're seeing that in our struggling sophomore quarterback. And I'm starting to wonder whether or not that's setting the tone a lot for a lot of teams. Because now you're looking at that, and you're like, hey man, we could go ahead and make this trade, and we could get the best thing since sliced bread, or we can get a Deshaun Watson or a Russell Wilson. And as a GM, you've got to think about that, because especially in the situation of a Joe Douglas right now, where I do believe, even though Woody said there's no playoff mandate, blah, 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 I do believe that behind closed doors, there's a mandate. Like, look, it's 12 years. We have the longest active streak of not making the playoffs in the NFL. We had the opportunity to make the playoffs by winning one freaking game in the last freaking 4 weeks of the season. We couldn't do it. There's going to be a mandate. And I do believe that is going to change. I don't think Lamar Jackson, like people are saying, like, oh, for Lamar Jackson, it's going to be the same thing as Deshaun Watson. No, it's not. No, it's not. Why? One, Lamar feels disrespected. I don't think he plays it down under the freaking franchise tag, which is the only way I think now the Ravens are going to try to keep him on the roster. There's already a disconnect there. And we've only seen Lamar Jackson do his thing in Baltimore. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't, maneuver a system to be around him. I saw a couple of people say like he's a running back that throws the ball. Again, Jets fans, we're so odd that way. Like, he would still be the best quarterback we've had since
without a
Joe
question.
Namath. So, like, I get it. Like like what you said, the injury concern, that's legitimate. I understand that. I do believe there's a little bit of personality concern with him. So I get that, but there's no way somebody's paying the price that we paid that Russell Wilson got and Deshaun Watson got. I'm with Mr. Downtown on this one. The market's been reset because of the failures of the last two major big game quarterbacks that were traded for like ridiculous returns. Those teams right now are looking at that trade and having nothing but regrets.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we got to be real careful, man. Like, we don't want to get into that. And the fact that Lamar wants $50 million, I think that's the most scary thing for me. Like, $50 million, dude. He turned down, what was it, 45?
45 million
with the team that he's on. You know what I mean? Like, he turned it down, dude. We're the Jets. He's going to get some guaranteed contract, $780 million. He's going to get injured year one, and that's it. I don't know. I'm terrified of that. But you're right. I mean, the point is, if the Jets go out and figure out a way to get Lamar Jackson, am I going to be pissed? No, I'm going to be like, holy shit, we got a legitimate player here.
Yeah,
right. So look, I want to point something out though in the chat. Now, my guys in the back, Jeremy, Y2K, they're telling me that Jet Bridge bought you guys 5 new Stream Beaner memberships. Now, I can't see it for some reason. I can't. I trust Jets Chaos, of course, but I can't see it. So I'm going to I was like looking for it to make a big deal out of it, but I can't see it. So I'm going to say this. Now, it's Jet Bridge. Jeremy, I'll bring you on for 30 seconds, okay? Can you just help me clarify this? Here he comes, Mr. Bald himself, Jeremy Jets Chaos. Well, you look particularly shiny today, so I don't know what it is. It stands out.
Well, thank you.
So explain, tell me what's going on here. This is all new to me.
Yeah, I saw a message on the YouTube. Not, I look at the YouTube messages to help you because I'm in the private chat with you guys. So,
right.
I saw a message go up, and I've seen it before because I saw it on Jets Talk 24/7. It's been done before, so I know it's a feature that they like to do. Apparently, Jets Bridge purchased 5 or donated. It said Jets Bridge donated 5 memberships. I believe that means that he already selected the 5. So if any of the 5 recipients out there wants to say, hey, I'm one of the people he got a membership for, that would help a lot.
Well, look who got it. Jets Forever is suddenly a member.
Yeah.
Jets Forever, who has painted my chats bloody for 3-4 years, never given me a super chat, never given me a membership, is suddenly a member because of Jets Bridge, Jets Forever. You got to thank this Jets Bridge guy because come on.
Yeah, he's smiling. Jets Forever just put his sticking his tongue out. So it's you're right. Jets Forever was definitely one of the people who received that gift.
I can see it. Well, let me say, all jokes aside, thank you for doing that, Jets Bridge. That's going to enable me to add more emojis, because like I've shared with you guys, I learned after making the damn membership that I'm limited in the emojis I can make. I went to Fiverr. I had some made for you guys, and I can't even use them all because I'm limited by the number of members. But this will enable me to add some fun emojis for you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep saying Jetsbridge. It's Jet Engine.
Jet Engine.
Jet Engine. I'm sorry.
Jets
I don't know
Bridge.
why I have that in my head that I keep saying bridge.
You know, it's funny. I said that in the chat too. Jet Bridge. Well, Jet Bridge, if you are real,
Jet Engine.
Forgive us for giving,
yeah.
But Jet Engine, thank you, Jet Engine. So Jet Engine with the super chat and the donation. Sincerely, man, I appreciate it. I hope the 5 recipients appreciate it as well. It's a really cool thing to do, man. And thank you. And I'm sorry I can't see it, but this is why Jeremy's presence is so incredibly valuable to me. In addition to him being around like Wat2K, digging up stats and everything, but Jeremy, dude, he makes sure I don't miss anything, guys. And that's without him, I would miss at least 50% of what you guys are throwing at me. I don't know what's going on. So thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. And we'll bring you on in a little bit, but thank you. Right. And thank you again, Jet Engine. What a cool thing to do. And I can't believe you picked Jets Forever out of all people. I mean, I love Jets Forever, but a lot of people don't agree with me there, Gunny. All right, let's see who's next here. I saw a couple super chats. Let me make sure I don't miss any here. G Money's a new member too. Look at that. Thank you, G Money, the newest stream beaner. Welcome to the club. That's super cool. All right, I want to make sure I got to go back up here. There it is. Oh, wait, holy shit. There's a few of them. All right, we got to catch up with these, Gunny. That's what we got to do. That's all right. BG the Kid.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Well, we'll throw it to you. There it is. Okay, we are here. BG the Kid, thank you for the super chat. Get Carr and Olsen, right? That's what I'm saying there, Gunny. New Mike Lafleur would be the fall guy. He's a play caller, not a coach. Plays battleship football. As Mike Lombardi says, just calls random plays. Well, that's one of the issues. Like, again, you and I, Gunny, we watched the all 22, so you can see how many plays are actually working when they don't look like they are on the regular TV broadcast and everything. But that said, I did have a problem with Lafleur kind of, dealing with the situations on the field. It looked to me like he had a plan and he was sticking to it. He doesn't adjust to what's happening in the game. And that was one of my gripes with Mike Lafleur. So again, I think it makes sense if there was going to be a fall guy that it's Mike Lafleur. But I'm surprised by Benton. How do you feel about that one?
That was kind of surprising a little bit, right? Like, especially when you take into consideration the injuries we had to deal with. Not to mention, I still think the line in general did okay, right? When you take into consideration all of the injuries and issues and heartache we had to go through, like the line still did okay. Like when it got like I guess you could say graded out, there was still a top 20 offensive line in the NFL.
Amazing.
Which blew my freaking mind. I was like, totally. Oh, way was this good. But there were legitimately 12 other teams with worse offensive lines than us, and we were picking up people from the scrap heap. Like, hey, listen, we're going to need you to start this Sunday, and it's Thursday. Like, for me, I was very surprised at that move. I did not expect him to be gone. I'm still shocked that our special teams coach is still here, but it is what it is. I don't know how this dude continues to survive regimes of coaching changes, et cetera, et cetera. And I get it. He had a great start to the year. But I think we can all agree that towards the back end, like when it mattered most, and of course, like the most recent games are what we can see as a fan and what matters on the scoreboard. He, like the special teams man, just took a turn for the worse. But I was very surprised by it, and to be honest with you, not a fan of letting him go. I think that when you look at that offensive line, that rotation of players being plug and played, and to be a top 20 unit, like
totally,
I'm shocked that I thought we were going to be one of the worst offensive lines in the league based off of what we saw visually. But then when you look at the statistics and the grades, people with more acumen in terms of grading everything looked at it and they said, nah, this was still a top 20 unit in the league. And I'm beyond, that's got to be coaching. That's 100% on coaching. You can't tell me otherwise, because some of these guys aren't starters on any other team in the NFL. And yet somehow, some way, we were a top 20 unit on the offensive line.
Like it's never, I was just talking about this and I want to say hello to the Jets Turbulence podcast. I was just spending some time with them just prior to the Thursday Thick of It kicking off. Thank you guys for having me on. It was a good time, man. I thought the conversation was too short. We got to do it again. They're a good group of dudes, so we had a good time, but thank you for popping in here, and everybody go ahead and support the Jets Turbulent podcast. And if you can watch this episode, I just did it with these guys and we had a blast, man. I'm with you, dude, 100%. At no time with all the injuries, we had 6 offensive tackle injuries. Don't forget, we had 4 separate right guards this year. At no time was this offensive line as bad as the Mike Maccagnan offensive lines. It's incredible. Like, so when people say things like, oh, Joe Douglas, he was supposed to be an offensive line guy and we're still in shambles. I hear you. Like, if you're just looking at the ground floor here, I look, you have a point, but the truth is he's put more resources into the offensive line than any general manager that we've ever seen. That's the truth. That's the truth. 2 first-round picks, 4th-round picks, big free agent signings. I mean, he's brought in guys from all over the spectrum. Injuries are injuries, man. Injuries are injuries, and it happens. I think it's got to turn around because the rest of the team, man, by and large, the injury issue did lessen. I know it doesn't feel like it, guys. I know that, but it did significantly. And I think I was surprised because, John Benton was obviously working overtime to keep these guys intact, and he's now gone too. The only thing I think that it makes sense with Gunny is that, look, you don't want to bring in an offensive coordinator that has to do things in the same way that your offensive line coach and wide receivers, right? Because look, Miles Austin is out. He did whatever he did with the gambling, who knows, but he's out. So now you got LaFleur out, the wide receivers coach out, John Benton out. Now it's kind of a clean slate offensively. You still got Coach Middleton, which I'd be very upset if they fired him.
They better not let go of Coach Middleton. I swear to God.
I'm telling you. Coach Middleton is obviously the real deal, and we all love that guy. Yep. I'll tell you what, man. I think there's maybe a 5% chance that he's the offensive coordinator. I think it's unlikely, but I wouldn't be blown away if they just bumped him up.
I've seen that a couple of times. So I got to go back to Twitter, but on Twitter, I've seen a couple people say, just make Middleton the offensive coordinator. And I'm like, I'm not opposed to it. But that's because also I think I love the guy. I think I just love his demeanor. I love his leadership style. I love his passion. I don't know if he can call a play to save, or I have no idea. But I'm like, I like the guy. I wouldn't be opposed. Not the year we need to be going into it thinking like, oh, you know what? As long as I like the guy, it's good enough.
That's right.
I would like to have a real firepower.
Right.
100%.
But know. Middleton could be like, I don't know how to call plays.
But I like him. Maybe he can figure this thing out. So that's the only thing I'd have about that. But I have seen a couple of people bringing up Middleton being the offensive coordinator. I mean,
look, it's an outside chance, but that's the thing. I'd like to see him stay. But other than that, man, I don't know. It's like, seeing we've kind of cleared out the offense for the next guy coming in. He doesn't seem like he has to be married to too much as long as they don't force Zach Wilson on him. Mr. Downtown checking back in. What's up with Q and Sauce getting all pro snubbed? What do you think of that real quick, Gunny?
Like, now, just to clarify, like that all pro doesn't count. So that was pretty much the players giving their opinions of who they felt was an all pro caliber. What the all pro team should look like. Now, the legitimate all pro selection is supposed to be happening, I think, week after next. Either that or right before the Super Bowl, you'll figure out who the all pros are, the Pro Bowlers, the awards. So that wasn't the official all pro selection. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was trash by the players. And it just made me realize, like, man, even players make mistakes. Not just the GMs or the corporate guys who can't get it right. Players playing against these guys mess this thing up too, because that was, to me, beyond insulting. And I get it. I think Aaron Donald got in there ahead of Q, and I think a lot of it has to do with name recognition,
totally,
over anything else. Because Aaron Donald, I think, played like 6 or 5 games less than Q, and Q, without a doubt, had more impact throughout the year than Aaron Donald has. Like, I understand that ultimately what it boils down to is favoritism, name recognition. But no, now when it comes to that, the all-pro selection by the team, by players, who cares? We're going to see the real all-pro votes come out here in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll know for sure what we have. Right. But I have a hard time believing both of those guys are going to not be on the all-pro. Like Sauce led them in every major category with the exception of interceptions.
Yeah,
at the cornerback position. You have to be out of your mind to not make him an all-pro.
Yeah, but look, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be something that we haven't dealt with before. I mean, I gripe about it all the time. I mean, we have players like Mo Lewis and Kyle Clifton leading the team, leading the league in lots of categories. I mean, Kyle Clifton led the league in tackles 3 separate times and never even got a Pro Bowl. Mo Lewis was switched around from 3-4 to 4-3. He was asked to be a coverage linebacker. He comes away with 4 or 5 picks. They make him an outside pass rusher. He gets 10 sacks. I mean, the guy was unbelievable. And only when Parcells came here and that name recognition, like you're talking about, started to get involved, that's when he started to make Pro Bowls and all pros. Before that, he was completely ignored. And that's the whole thing with Klecko and all that stuff too. I mean, it would suck to see these guys get snubbed. The only good news I would say is, look, Sauce is a rookie, so he's going to have plenty of time to continue this career. Quinnen, though, I think he's earned it. He's been in the league. This is, a few years now. Again, upward. He's got 12 sacks, numerous tackles for a loss, a whole mess of quarterback pressures and hits. And I think he's the guy. And I would love to see him make it, although it doesn't help our contract negotiations, man.
No,
that's one thing it does not help. So look at this. Jet Engine answering our question with what was the picture. That's him with an M249. What do you think? Are these numbers?
That's a saw.
You're familiar with this?
M49 is a saw. It's the machine gun. So he was a machine gunner. I'm not sure if that's at MCT, or perhaps for him, since he's carrying that, it could be at SOI, the School of Infantry. He could have been a grunt, but the M249 is a saw, right? So like it's a machine gun, like it's fun to shoot. I'll tell you that. It's fun to shoot. The individuals who get to carry that thing around are strong as hell, though. I'll tell you that, because on those hikes we got to take to carry that, not to mention ammunition. That's one strong dude. Jet Engine. If you could put in the comments, man, if you were a grunt or if that was at Marine combat training, for some reason you were selected to be the guy that carried the M249, I'd be interested in getting an answer for that. Because look, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big dude, and I got to carry the M249 during Marine combat training because ultimately I was an air winger when it was all said and done. That thing was heavy, man. Like in a month of outdoors, just hiking everywhere, that thing got heavy real fast. I never passed it off because I'm not built to quit, but I have respect for you especially if you were a grunt, because you had to do this for 3 months of carrying that thing around, and I had to deal with it for a month. So all respect. Yeah. So I see King Blaze said he carried the saw too. Hey, if you carried the saw at Marine combat training, or if you carried it as a grunt for 3 months, you all know what I'm talking about. That thing is heavy. It is not fun, but at the end of the day, we don't have quit in us as Marines. So I was bitching on the inside, but you never heard me verbalize it. And I'm a big dude, and it was a lot to carry. So
see, those are the men. That's what I'm hearing. Those are the men. Yes. You got guys on the internet these days being tough, and I'll do this and I'll do that. Those were the real men. Okay.
Okay. That's check it out. So Jet Engine, my bad, Green Bean. I just saw him. So I'm 6'2". But now I'm 235 pounds. But at MCT, I was 6'2", 195 pounds. I had lost so much weight in boot camp. So he was in boot camp at 6'2", 225. God damn, bro, you were big. That was all muscle. If you were 6'2" at 225 at Marine combat training or SOI, you were all muscle, because there's no way there was any fat on your body. So he says right now he's a 275 pound firefighter. Hey, man. It happens to all of us, bro. Like that Marine Corps like shape, it's hard to maintain once you get out of the game. So I feel you on that.
Now I gotta clarify something, because my good buddy keeps changing his name out there. Now Jet Engine, just tell me yay or nay. Are you Herm? Are you Night Stalker? Is that who you are? Because there's a lot of similarities right now, and I feel like the last message I got from that fella told me his name was Jet Engine now because the Night Stalker thing was freaking people out. So, just be maybe like, why are you called Night Stalker? What's your deal? But let me know in the chat if you are in fact that guy. You know who I'm talking about. If it's you, if not, no sweat. Either way, I'm really grateful for your involvement tonight. You're helping out a great deal, and thank you. A lot of fun too. Look, I can't talk guns with Gunny. I have a 9mm and a 380. That's it. That's all I got. I don't know shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get me some assault weapons. I'm gonna do it. So where are you, Gunny? What state are you?
I'm in Texas. I'm in the great state of Texas. Like my closet right now is nothing but an arsenal. I'm ready to go. Like if anything was to pop off,
you're ready to go.
Hey, y'all can come to my crib. I'll give y'all the address. We'll be safe here. The wife can handle an assault rifle. I can handle an assault rifle. My kids can handle assault rifles. Like, and we've got a little arsenal in the closet, the master closet. And it's locked up like our baby's running around, but we are ready to go in this house.
See, there you go, man. Now look, I live in Virginia. The firearms laws are very, very similar to Texas. So
are they? I thought it was stricter.
No. Virginia, Florida, like we share all the same rules. Texas is still the loosest. Texas has got us. But Virginia's pretty good. We all drive around with guns and shit over here. But for me, being from New Jersey, I'm not used to it. I wasn't allowed to have a gun my whole life. It still seems spooky. But I'm
from Jersey too.
Well, I got 5.5 acres, Gunny, and my neighbor is literally a firearms salesman. So like, I have one neighbor in a 13-mile thing or 13-acre thing. So and we were just talking. He said, dude, I will show you the deal. I'll get you the right guns because like if something happens, we need to make this our compound, man. Nobody gets in here. So I'm with it. I'm with it. When the shit hits the fan, you got to be ready.
I'm gonna need your boy's number because I'm telling you, there's some weapons we still can't get out here in Texas, right?
This is the guy. This is the guy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm all about connects.
No problem, man. I'll hook it up. Wild Wave checking in. Thank you, Wild Wave. He says the only argument against Q is that JD didn't draft him and his durability. Other than that, pay the man. Back in 2008, we traded for Favre for a conditional pick. Does history repeat itself? Now, maybe you're alluding to Aaron Rodgers. Now, let me say this about Q. I'm with you. JD did not draft him, but he was the year before JD. So JD's been with him, more than anybody. I mean, it's like this is the guy. Him and Nathan Shepard are the guys that JD has been with the longest on this team. So I don't know how much bearing that really has. I mean, like Quinnen said in his presser, dude, he has not made a peep. He has done everything the right way. He's a good teammate. Even when Elijah Moore came out and said the trade shit, Quinnen was one of the guys that went and talked to him. Obviously we saw the Quinnen blow up with White Cotton on the sideline to the his defensive line coach, and everything changed from that moment. So Quinnen's a leader, dude. He's a good person to have around. In addition to just being unbelievably lights out. The durability thing, he only missed one game this year, I think it was.
Yeah, he missed one game this year, one game last year, if I'm not mistaken, in the 16 games, era, right before we jumped to the 17 game. He's only missed, I think, 2 or 3 games. I think when you look at the defensive position, I don't even know if you can actually call that. And I think in those games too, he was rested when they realized the season was out of reach. So a couple of those games towards the back end, they were like, yeah, don't worry about it. We're not doing anything this year. We're not going to get you hurt. I wouldn't call that like injury prone. I mean, one game this year, I think it was one game, maybe 2 last year.
Yeah, it was one game last year. So all right, here it is. Okay. You're correct.
Good to go.
Quinnen, he missed one game this year, one game last year. 2020, he missed 3 games.
Okay.
Excuse me. And
it was 3 games to his rookie year, I think.
Yeah. Well, his rookie year, he only started 9, but he was available for 13. So he missed 3 games. So not too bad. Again, I don't know if I would call that durability issues.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't.
Now, about the Brett Favre thing, I tell you what, the whole thing with Green Bay, if they're going to trade him, man, they're going to need to do some reworking because it's absurd. The dead cap is like nothing you've ever seen, man. It's 128 million right now, but next year it's like 98 million dollars. Even if it's post June 1st, it would be 30 million for the next few years. They can't live like that. There's just no way to not have him on the team and still, have him cost 30 million. If he reworks the deal and there's some financial relief on their end, maybe the pick compensation would be lessened. I don't know about a conditional pick. I think you're going to have to give a first for Aaron Rodgers. I don't see any other way to do it. You think that you can get him for less?
No, there's no way. There's no way you're going to get Aaron Rodgers for any less than a first. And that's the minimum. I think a first round draft pick is the minimum. Like, I get it, man. He's about to be 40 years old, but this is a guy who before this year was coming off of back-to-back MVPs. And I think anybody watching the Packers can honestly state, like, who the heck was a wide receiver 1 on that team? And when you got a quarterback playing with a bunch of wide receiver 2s and wide receiver 3s trying to elevate them, and I don't think any of us can argue that the fact that we've got a legitimate wide receiver 1 in freaking Garrett Wilson. Could you imagine Aaron Rodgers just doing what Aaron Rodgers does, getting the ball to Garrett Wilson?
Oh my God.
What that would look like. Oh my God. Like,
Garrett Wilson's open every play.
Every time.
Yep.
The kid is open. Even when he's covered, he's open. He has this ability to just get the ball. And you would think for a 6 foot, 190-pound freaking wide receiver, he doesn't have the ability to get up the way he does, but he utilizes his body in such a way that I've only seen like tight ends like Antonio Gates do. Like, he's a smaller body guy, but he understands leverage and how to use his body to gain position against his DBs. And you can see his basketball acumen coming through every time he's going up for the ball. Aaron Rodgers would legitimately make Garrett Wilson an all-pro if he's here next year. Like, I believe that wholeheartedly, because Garrett Wilson, without a legitimate NFL quarterback on his roster, is about to be Offensive Rookie of the Year and still was able to go ahead and snag 1,100 yards.
1,100 yards. Dude, we haven't even seen, much less a rookie. We haven't seen 1,000 yards in 1,000 years. You know what I mean?
It's insane.
Dude, and that's the whole thing. Like, Garrett Wilson is open. Like, anytime you can put on almost any offensive play on the all-22, you could just randomly pick an offensive play. Garrett Wilson is open 9 times out of 10. And I mean open, wide open, 2-3 steps, sometimes 5-6 yards from the nearest defender. The fact that that's happening, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims, whoever the hell, the fact that we can't find these guys, that we look log jammed, is a travesty. It's a travesty. Get some competent quarterback play in here. And again, you want to develop Zach, that's fine. I have nothing, negative to say about that. Now, I do have a problem with the idea that Zach is going to compete for the starting job and all muddy up the water. No, just bring a guy in here that's going to be our guy, and then let Zach be developed on the back end with maybe a staff that's done this once or twice before, like a Munkin, like an Olsen, somebody like that, even a Reich, somebody that's been there and done it. See what you can get out of Zach on the back burner, and let's go win some damn games. Like you said, if it's Aaron Rodgers, do you realize how electric our offense would be with Aaron Rodgers? It'd be unbelievable, guys. I'm telling you. So Brian Bogan checking. Oh, no, go on, Gunny. Go ahead.
And just to add the extra sting of it all, to have Aaron Rodgers in our green and white when he was just playing for my wife's team, Green Bay.
That's right.
Personal swing. I would love it. I would watch every game live with her in view of every game I watch, because that's going to be great content.
Let me tell you,
that would be great content.
Well, what you guys did, I don't know if you guys were able to see it in the chat, but what Gunny and his wife did when the Jets played the Packers this year was, I don't know if your kids were doing it or whatever, but they were filming their reactions from behind. Oh, it was good. Dude, it was must see Jets fan watching. I loved it. And dude, here's the thing, you should tell everybody else, it's not just his wife. His wife won the battle of turning the kids. God. So he's surrounded by Packer fans in his
many
home.
Packers fans. So this is real quick. I know this is Green Bean show, but like, I got 4 kids. My firstborn is the only Jets fan that I won in a bet. Met my wife in the Marine Corps when we got married. Both of us are big sports fans. We had a bet. I told her like, hey man, now we're married, we're all going to be Jets fans. And she laughed at me because again, this isn't just a basic woman. She laughed and said, oh no, I'm good. I'm a Packers fan. And that's just how it's going to be. So it wasn't one of those things where like, oh, I watch football and my wife decided, yeah, because you watch football, I'm going to be whatever. No, that wasn't happening in our house. So when we got pregnant with our first child, it came to my mind, like, we're going to have to figure out which team this kid's going to root for. And we literally decided, listen, check it out. This is what we're going to do. Whoever's team has the best season in the year of that child's birth, that parent can claim that child as said fan. My daughter is 12 years old. I'll let y'all do the math. She's 12. My oldest is 12. She's my only Jets fan.
Yeah.
My 11-year-old, my 9-year-old, and my 7-year-old son. I have one son. One. He's the baby. He's 7. They rock Packers jerseys on Sundays.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. That's worse than me being surrounded by like cousins and my father. It's even tougher, Gunny. I give you much respect, man. I really do.
I appreciate it. I'm trying.
That's not an easy gig. It's not an easy gig. So, all right. So Brian Bogan checking in. Thank you, Brian. He says, I live near Beemore. Now, that's Baltimore for everybody who doesn't know. I have a lot of friends who are Ravens fans. A lot of them want them to trade Lamar for a car. They know he's not worth $50 million a year. That's an interesting thing, right? Like every time, and I tell you guys this all the time. Like I come from Jetnation, from the greenhouse. You see Matthias Simon in the chat. He ran a Jet message board for many years. I was on there all the time. I've been on the internet talking about the Jets since 1997, 98 or something like that. We have whenever we do anything, we trade, we fire, whatever, we sign somebody, I always go to the other team's message boards and I want to get a gauge on how their fans feel about said move. Now, the most recent one that I did was DJ Reed. When the Jets signed DJ Reed, admittedly, I didn't know much about him, Gunny. I'm not going to lie and say, oh yeah, that was my boy. It's not the truth.
Same here.
I've heard of him, but I didn't know anything really in any detail about him. So I went to the Seattle Seahawks. I think it was Super Bowl Nation, and they have the Seahawks board and everything. And every single one of those fans was livid. They were furious that the Seahawks let this guy go and the whole thing. Look, we're paying this Jamal Adams guy, and then we let DJ Reed go. And so it was really interesting to get that perspective. Now, when you're talking about like what he's saying, his friends, the Ravens fans, and they're kind of willing to trade Lamar Jackson and his feast or famine, like the really great games, and then it's like he's injured or all the bullshit that kind of surrounds it, for more consistency. And I have to admit, I've shared this before too. I'm a big fan of consistency. I'd rather have like above average all the time than really great one day and disappear the next week. Like I would much rather have consistency over feast or famine. Now, Lamar Jackson's amazing, dude. Like you can't take anything from him. And again, if he ended up being the Jets quarterback, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be excited. But the fact that Ravens fans are kind of interested, like, hey, dude, we're ready to get rid of this guy. We're ready to bring on Derek Carr. That's an interesting statement. That's pretty interesting to hear. Because again, they're the ones watching them. I'm a big believer that the fans really know what's going on. The fans know. And we get a lot of shit, but we know. We've known for 30 years, we've known that they're doing stupid stuff. We know that the moves they're making aren't going to work. The same thing goes with the Ravens fans. So I don't know, man. I think that we should be a little cautious with jumping and paying him $50 million a year, dude. It scares me, Gunny. It really does. G Money checking in. Thank you, G Money. He's our newest member of the Stream Beaners today, among the 5 that were gifted by Jet Engine. So thank you again. Quarterback first, but should we be in for Hopkins? That's right. What an interesting one. I saw this one getting talked about. We discussed it on the Talking Jets panel. Gunny, I'm dying to hear what you think. They're saying that he's, potentially on the trading block. This year he's $19 million. The year after that he's $14 million. any interest in trading for 2 years ago, who I thought was the number one wide receiver in the NFL?
Yeah.
Hopkins, any interest?
Yeah, I'm probably going to be in the minority here, but no, I don't think the Jets need to go ahead and bring in D-Hop. And not to disrespect his game, got to meet him while I was out here in Houston when he played for the Texans. Cool dude, real cool cat. And he was elite at that point as well. But I don't believe he brings enough juice at the age of 31. I want to say 30 or 31. He's up there.
Yeah, 31.
That's 31.
I think so.
That's going to go ahead. Yeah, it's just you're paying a guy right now where we're already right now trying to go ahead and manage our salary cap to keep the majority of our core pieces. And I do believe we can get the production that we could expect from D-Hop on the back end of his career from a Corey Davis if we're going to go that route. Just keep Corey Davis. I know that there's some Jets fans who are going to look at it and say, what? Corey Davis has this one intricate drop every now and again where it doesn't matter. I'm a big fan of bringing him back at a lower price point. I don't think we should be paying him. I think it's 15 mil this year. I would
think
rather
it's only
pay
11, or maybe it's 11 or 13. I think it is
13?
one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, I would like him to be in that single digit millions, right? If it's 9 mil, I feel so much better about bringing back Corey Davis. I just don't see us, man. Like you said, 14 and 19 mil to bring in D-Hop, and we're going to have to give up an asset as well. It's going to cost no less than a third rounder. If not more, right? And I don't think wide receiver, believe it or not, is something that I feel like the Jets right now are like, oh my God, we don't have any wide receivers in the room. We really don't know. We didn't have a quarterback in the room. So it's hard to kind of figure out whether or not Mims is legit, whether or not Elijah Moore last year was just a fluke. Like, there's so many question marks when it comes to our wide receiver room, but I love the upside of what we have there. Garrett Wilson, we already know, true number one. You know, you and I could be playing quarterback. He's going to get numbers, right? Like Tyreek Hill said, I don't care if you're a reporter, I'm going to get mine. He said that. We've seen Garrett Wilson do that. So he's a legitimate number one. And, yeah, I just think it's just a matter of the quarterback we bring in. I think D-Hop, it sounds great. It sounds awesome, right? It'd be fun, but it's not a need. And I think right now, with salary cap and keeping our draft capital, we could put that to better use.
Yeah, I got to agree. Now, the only justification from my standpoint would be, let's say you get rid of Corey Davis. Let's say it's 11 million. All right. So he's zero. We don't, zero guarantee. So you can get rid of him clean. And let's say you get rid of Berrios for 6 million. That's now 17 million. And Hopkins is only 2 million more. So if you're going to look at it through that lens, you're just kind of replacing those guys with Hopkins, maybe. But I tend to lean exactly where you are. I don't think it's really the need. I think we should be focusing in other directions, letting our young wide receivers grow and see what this new offensive coordinator can do with them, because they're talented as shit, man. We have talent all over the place. For whatever reason, our quarterbacks and Mike Lafleur couldn't figure out how to use them. Let's see if somebody like a Reich, like an Olsen, can figure out how to find these guys, and we might have all our answers in-house. And that'd be best case scenario, in my opinion. So Jets Maniac Matt, the newest Stream Beaner, thank you for joining the club, man. I appreciate it. You guys are great. I'm going to be able to add like 3 new emojis after this stream. I can't wait to do it. But this is time. Now we're going to talk about our sponsor. Jets Maniac Matt reminded me. Let's do this real quick, Gunny. I'm not sure what you know about our delightful sponsor here, but we're going to talk. Let me change the background here real quick, guys. Where the hell is it? Let me do this one. Yep, there it is. So Manscaped, I'm not sure what you know about Manscaped, Gunny, but I'm going to tell you guys a few things about this Manscaped product. I don't know when they're going to send me the beard stuff, but guys, it's on its way. It should be here any day. I can't wait to share the entire new beard line with you. But in the interim, I'm going to remind you that Manscaped is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's performance package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. That comes with the Lawnmower 4.0. It comes with the Weed Whacker and a whole host of other great stuff. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. go on the website, find whatever products that you want. If there's 10% off already, 15% off, go ahead and take it to checkout and you add the promo code GreenBean and they will add an additional 20% off in conjunction with whatever other percentages that they're giving off on those products. You can save up to 40 and 50% in some instances. So go ahead and use the promo code GreenBean, and that comes with free international shipping as well. I will remind you at the end of this stream, we are going to be giving away this. I've never opened it, I promise. Only once or twice. That's it. Once or twice I used it, but other than that, it's essentially brand new. This Weed Whacker, the best ear and nose hair trimmer on the market today. We're going to give this away, and this comes in the performance package. Guys, don't forget, the link is in the description of this video. Use the promo code GreenBean and save an additional 20%. And that, stick around. If you're a subscriber to the channel, that's all you have to do to be entered. We're going to give that Weed Whacker away to some lucky subscriber. And won't that be nice, Gunny? Wouldn't that be a nice thing to win that?
That would be great. That would be great. Because I too am a huge fan of Manscaped. You know what I'm saying? The wife appreciates a smooth body. You know what I'm saying?
Smooth area.
Smooth area. I got everything from the nose trimmer, the clippers. I've got a couple of blades. I got the moisturizers. It's a great product. Like I'm a big component of it. I use it regularly. Great sponsor. I gotta ask. I understand they're sponsoring this video, GreenBean, but if I wanted to go ahead and throw something onto your channel for the opportunity to just be here amongst this many Jets fans at one time, for a sponsor, I have an autographed jersey. If you're willing to let me go ahead and put that out there for you to go ahead and decide how you want to give it out.
It all depends on whose jersey. If it's Mark Sanchez or something.
No. I wouldn't do you like that. This is the GreenBean show. I wouldn't do you like that. Hold on one second.
So look at that, guys. We're going to be giving away a Weed Whacker from Manscaped, the best ear and nose hair trimmer on the market. And Gunny is going to give away. I can't wait to see it. What is it? Look at this.
Our boy Elijah Vera Tucker autographed jersey. Right, we're talking about it's authentic. We've got the certification right there as well attached to it. I don't know how you want to do it, but man, I love this. I love being a part of the show, GreenBean. I've been watching you, man, for like two and a half years. I'm telling you, you're one of the motivations that got me on YouTube, man. So awesome. I would love, if you're okay with it, I know it's your show.
I'm okay with it.
To go ahead and give this to a lucky fan, one of your subscribers at the end of this stream, however you want to do it. You do your thing. You got your producers in the back. They can go ahead and figure that all out. Elijah Vera Tucker autographed jersey. I can have that in the mail to whoever wins it at the end of this.
That is tomorrow. Amazing. And Gunny, thank you for even offering such a wonderful thing. That's legit, guys. We're not talking about a Mark Sanchez jersey, a Sam Darnold jersey, something laying around in his closet he wants to get rid of. That is the real deal. AVT. So yeah, at the end of the show, Gunny, we'll give away the Manscaped product, and then we'll give away the jersey. What we'll do is we'll pick a random number, and I'll go into the subscriber list, and I'll just pick that person, and that's how it will be done. So guys, again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, now is the time. You can win yourself a couple great prizes at the end of the show. The Manscaped Weed Whacker and the AVT signed jersey. That's badass, man. I can't even believe that. That's awesome. So stick around. We got a few more minutes. We're going to do some trivia, and then we'll get into the badass giveaways. Thomas Cahill checking in, Gunny. He says, oh, my God, that's right. I wanted to talk about this.
I heard about that.
Offered to be our offensive line coach. Now, let me show you real quick the tweet that Mangold put out there, guys. Let me show you guys this real fast over here. All right, where is it? There it is. Okay. So he heard about the vacancy, and let me see if there's any movement here. Yep, this is what he did. That's directly from Nick Mangold. Hello, I'm right here, and this is Robert Saleh talking about it. Just so you guys can hear that real quick before we talk more about Nick Mangold and whether that's a real option.
I've been in this league for a very long time. I've been with them for a very long time. Just wanted to go in a different direction.
Just wanted to go in a different direction, Gunny. I don't know. Now, look, I'll admit I do have some concerns that Robert Saleh's getting smacked around right now by either Joe Douglas or I got concerns. I do. But I do think once we decided to fire LaFleur, it makes a ton of sense to just get rid of Ben, to just don't do it half-assed. Clean house, let the offensive coordinator that you sign know this is your offense. So now, as far as Nick Mangold, though, any interest? Do you think it's legit? I mean, theoretically, it'd be nice to have him around, but you think this one could work, Gunny?
100%. You're talking about a guy who understands what it means to fight in the trenches, a guy who did it at an elite level for a decade plus as a New York Jet. I don't understand. Like this is a guy that we all love. I don't understand how this is even a question, right? Like if you're going to become an offensive coordinator for the New York Jets, I think it's just easy to realize like, hey, Nick Mangold is not only beloved, it's going to get me points with the fan base as an offensive coordinator, and he could assist me specifically in an offensive line because he understands what it takes to be elite. Let's not forget, Nick Mangold wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the strongest offensive lineman, but that man had a high IQ and understood technique, and that's what made him elite. So yes, 100%. Bring Nick Mangold on board. He can teach the things, the intricate pieces that an elite talent like a freaking Elijah Vera Tucker, who's got all the physical gifts in the world, right? Hey, I don't know. Maybe this is Mekhi Becton's coming out year. He might decide finally he wants to stay healthy, finish out the whole season. These are the kind of, my mind goes to that when I think about him being the coach, being able to teach the obvious high-level, natural, God-given talent that we have on the offensive line. Max Mitchell, Elijah Vera Tucker, freaking Mekhi Becton. Got a couple of pieces we got to figure out. But yes, I'm 100% on board and bringing Mangold in as our offensive line coach.
I see. Hey, man, I gotta admit, I like it too. Like, look, you don't want to force feed an offensive line coach on whoever it is that comes here. Maybe they don't feel like they'll mesh with them, but theoretically, could there be a better decision that this organization can make? Nick Mangold is, like you said, beloved by this fan base. He stayed around. Like he didn't just kind of leave and pop in time. He's with the Jets. He goes over, like when we were in London, he was like our ambassador over there for the New York Jets. He is a steady member of the New York Jets. And I think it would be amazing. Like you said, dude, he was a stud muffin. I don't think Laken Tomlinson's bullshit act would work with Nick Mangold. He'd grab him and go, hey, dude, what are you doing?
Get your head out of your ass.
Right. What is this? What, did you just get here? You're a 10-year vet, dude. Get your head out of your ass and start blocking some people or we're going to bench you. That's what 100%. I think Nick Mangold would say. So anyway, I like it. I hope it happens. I really do. Now, whether it will or not, I don't know how real it is, but I have to say, I really do hope that it happens. I saw a comment in here I wanted to get to real quick. So Jet Engine. Now, I didn't see if you answered my question, but this gives me the idea that you are that guy because you mentioned my former name. I don't know who knows this out there, but my given name wasn't GreenBean. I'm not sure if you guys figured that out yet. My mom did not name me that. That's a name I kind of what the hell was that? You see that?
Whoa, yeah, just kind of like zoomed in on us.
Yeah, what is that? How'd that happen? Oh, wait, that's why. Okay, there I hit a button. But yeah, my born name is Kyle, if you can believe that, Gunny. And he says, yeah, you've been talking to me for years. I'm a good dude, right? Aren't I a good guy, Jet Engine? People don't believe me, man. I'm a genuinely nice fella. Wants his channel to grow. Join, whatever. This is a cool community he, Ryan, and the guys are building. I agree, man. And thank you so much, dude. It's nice to have you around tonight. And, look, dude, again, Jets fans, I mean, we have our nutcases. We do. And we have our grumps. We do. We have our negative Nancy's. But overall, dude, we are a tortured group of people that stay together through thick and thin. And I think that has value, Gunny. You know what I mean? I think we're worth something, buddy.
100%. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think the New York Jets fan base is amongst the most intelligent and passionate fan bases in football. People, I say that they think I'm crazy. Like, even when you've got conversations going back and forth and we're obviously disagreeable, you're rarely going to get a New York Jets fan that doesn't really know what they're talking about to support whatever opinion they're going to give you. Some people will just say like, oh, I don't want this player because I don't want this player. They couldn't tell you why. Some people will tell you like, oh, this player is great, but they couldn't tell you why. A New York Jets fan will not only give you their particular solution or answer, but they'll be able to show you their homework, show you the work. I think we're
Right.
amongst the most intelligent and passionate fan bases there is in football. And I love the haters that we've got. I love the ones that love the game. I love them all. I think it's fun to interact with them because it keeps me sharp. It lets me, I'm like, man, I didn't think of it that way. I might not agree, but those are valid points that you can see on both sides. So I love this fan base, man.
That's right.
As crazy as we are.
You're 100% right. You can't just spout shit off with this fan base because they know.
No. Yep.
They know stuff, man. They've done their homework. They've dug into guys since they're in college. Like, they know everything there is to know. You can't just talk around here.
Facts.
So I just saw Jeremy just reminded me in the chat, Jet Engine is actually Brian Dolan. Now, Jet, it's so funny because I knew that. You know that I knew that. You were the Jetnation captain a couple years ago. I had you on the streams, but it just gets muddy, Brian. It just gets muddy for me. You know, I cross a lot of wires, but no matter how you slice it, we have been talking for many years. And again, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the kind words, man. That's that stuff is hard to come by in the world. And I thank you for it. Julio Guzman checking in. Crazy to believe Ryan Fitzpatrick has our single season touchdown record. That needs to be broken. Dude, listen to this, Guzman. We haven't had a single quarterback get more than 20 touchdowns since. Think about that. You know, 2 top 3 quarterbacks, and we can't find 20 touchdowns, dude. We can't fucking buy it. We're trying.
Mind you, GreenBean, in an offensive-friendly NFL, we can't do it.
Dude.
That's what is most frustrating about it.
That makes it even worse. It really does. But just the sentiment that Julio's saying here, I mean, it's so true. The fact that we had this guy come in and he only started because idiot Geno Smith got his jaw broken in the locker room, and he ends up holding our record. Like, come on. That's almost as embarrassing as some of the failures that we've had. It's just, it's the worst. That needs to be broken. I agree. Here he is again, Jet Engine Brian checking in. Gunny and GreenBean are great. Best stream yet. Well, thank you, man. I agree. I'm having a good time with Gunny. The time is flying. I got to get Watch2K in here soon. A few minutes for the trivia, and we got to give you guys that AVT jersey and the Manscaped goody gumdrops. Look at that thing. Oh, my goodness. That's fantastic. I can't wait. This is going to be cool. I can't wait to see who wins it. I almost want to just give it to Jet Engine. But we got to make it a contest. RJ McPot checking in. Since Woody is making drastic change, I wonder if he'll shake up the athletic training staff. I think it says something about our society, how a pharmaceutical mega mogul can't keep his team healthy. Well, again, RJ McPot, let me remind you that the Jets, even though there were a lot of injuries to the offensive line, overall, this has been our healthiest season in at least 5 years. So it's on its way. Don't forget, Joe Douglas gutted and changed the entire medical program. That includes the medical, that includes the training, that includes the rehab, that includes the dietary. So they just finished their second year on the job here. So we got to give them some time to really lay down the groundwork, get these guys involved. And again, the results they're already coming in, Gunny. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think we're at least on the upward trend. What do you think?
Yes. No, 100%. And like you said perfectly, like, as bad as the injuries were, it wasn't that there were as many of them as we're accustomed to in the past. They just happened to be hitting a very pertinent part of the game, the offensive line, and the loss of Breece Hall. Obviously, that hurt. It impacted us greatly. But in terms of a volume of injuries, we were a relatively very healthy team this year. We're talking about I think it was a year ago, just last year and the year before that, we had on injured reserve, I think it was like top 3 in cap space on injured reverse.
Yeah.
injured reserve in the NFL. And we were bottom actually this year. We were bottom in terms of, like, I think bottom 10, bottom 5, something like that. I saw the stat like earlier, last month, but bottom nonetheless. That's a huge step forward. Now, granted, it sucks and it hits us harder when those injuries are happening on the offensive line and to our star running back. So, of course, we're feeling it as a fan base, and we're furious, and we're thinking like, man, injuries are the same. But nah, I'm with GreenBean on this one, man. This training staff, that's a huge step forward from what we encountered the last 2 years in terms of injuries on our roster.
Yeah. Now, the point you're making, though, RJ McPot, that, the fact that we are, if we are an injured team and, we're literally owned by the Johnson & Johnson company, it's definitely not a good look. You know what I mean? It's like you would think that out of all the teams, we're one that can figure out how to stay healthy. Hopefully the upward trend continues. Again, man, it's the fact that it was mostly to our offensive line is nuts. It's crazy that's the largest concentration of our injuries were at the tackle positions. Insane. Really insane. Hopefully maybe we got out of our system.
Statistically an anomaly. So, like, it's unheard of for us to have suffered that much of an impact at one position. Like, it doesn't happen. And of course, the New York Jets want to go ahead and break records. Not the records we want to be breaking, but we're out here breaking records.
That's what we do, baby. We hold all the bottom end of all the weird stats. That's us. That's why, you know what? Like 2 years ago when we were 0-13, I really wanted the Jets to go 0-16. Number one, I wanted Trevor Lawrence, but I also wanted them to go 0-16 because I thought we deserved it. If anybody deserves to have it, it's us. Give me that damn stat. You know how hard it is to be 0-16? More teams win the Super Bowl than go 0-16.
Yes, it's about as hard as going 16-0, right? So, hey,
it really is.
We were that bad. That was the year for us to go ahead and chase that record.
Yeah, no more. I don't want to do it again now. Don't get me twisted.
No. Hard pass.
Right, hard pass.
That was then. This is now.
Right. Our buddy Dom C checking in. He says, Gunny's core speak makes my life seem very feeble. Oh, Dom, I'm sure you live. Right? Dom's fine. Your life is great. You live a very hard life. Very, very hard. All the traffic.
Everybody's got their own challenges. Everybody's got their own challenges.
Right. Don't forget about the traffic, Dom. Not everybody can deal with that quite like you do, buddy.
That's real.
That's real. Adam checking in. What are we going to do if Tom Brady goes to Miami next year? Brady back to torture us a little more with Sean Payton this time. I'll tell you what, a 46-year-old Tom Brady going to Miami, I think good. Let's let Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed show them that we're not the same old Jets we're not the same AFC East that gave them 6 free wins every year. Don't forget that, man. Like, as good as the Patriots were, they were cheating, number one. And look, you can say what you want. They were caught cheating 4 times. So how many times do you think they were cheating, right? They were caught.
And didn't get caught. And they didn't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Like, count that many times.
Exactly. So it's like all the times that I got, I get pulled over for speeding and I'm like, but I wasn't even. That's all right. I was speeding thousands of times that I didn't get caught. But the other thing is, man, is like, in addition to them being good and being, getting away with cheating, essentially, they got 5 or 6 free wins every single year. The Dolphins sucked, the Jets sucked, and the Bills sucked. Now, again, every now and then, the Dolphins would beat them once, the Bills would beat them once, but by and large, they got 5 or 6 free wins from their division. What team isn't going to get the number 1 seed with 6 free wins each year? So I don't know. To 46-year-old Tom Brady, I'm not afraid of him, dude. And I don't want him on the Jets, Gunny. I don't want him. Nope. I don't want to sell my soul. Anybody else than that guy.
Anybody. Give me Gardner Minshew before you give me Tom Brady. I'm going to stand firm on that. The individuals were like, oh, man, bringing Tom Brady will be funny to go ahead. No, that is not how I want us to go ahead and turn this team around.
Right.
I hate Tom Brady with a passion so deep that to have to root for him on my Jets would literally kill me inside. Would I root for the team? Yes. But it would kill me inside to have to see Tom Brady be the guy we bring in to potentially help us turn the ship around. No, let him go to Miami. I'm with GreenBean on this one. Like, he didn't look like much of a threat this season. Yes, granted, he had some pretty decent numbers. It's the NFC, okay? It's pretty much the equivalent of JV versus varsity when it comes to NFC versus AFC. Bring him to the AFC. Go to Miami. They don't have the defense of the Patriots either, so we can go ahead and play this game with them. I wouldn't be scared of Tom Brady going to Miami.
Yeah, me too. And look, man, again, like Tom Brady, like he's still good and all that jazz, but this isn't the same AFC East. And look, I would root too. Of course, I'd have to root.
Yeah, 100%.
But I really wouldn't. And I'm going to tell you guys anyway, the history being what it is, I could see Tom Brady coming here just to suck and drive one more spike in our hearts. Like, I don't want to play with the devil, man. I just don't want to deal with the devil. There's a million other ways to do it. Jet Engine checking back in. Need a big body wide receiver across from Garrett Wilson, number 8 in the slot. Dude, I got to say, I hope the next offensive coordinator looks at Elijah Moore and goes, of course he's a slot receiver. What the fuck are we doing? Why is this guy? Why are we sending him on number 9 routes down the side? What are we doing? Get him in the slot. Let him surgically carve up the interior. Right. So I know, look, I'm still, I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I still think Denzel Mims is every bit of the wide receiver that we drafted, and terrible quarterback play, terrible coaching. And I think that, he can be the guy across from Garrett Wilson. Again, I don't give a shit who agrees or not, but I hope the next offensive coordinator shows us that Elijah Moore and Denzel Mims are actually utilizable in an NFL offense, man.
That'd be nice. That'd be so nice.
Wouldn't it though? Wouldn't it? I mean, that's the thing. Like Denzel Mims, he never had a knock on him that he was lazy, never a knock that he was stupid, that he couldn't absorb the play. Never a bad team player. All of a sudden, this regime comes in and he's like the worst. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, you know what I mean? It was like, it was just so out of character. And I hated it, man. I really did. But
I'm a big Mims fan. I'm a big Mims fan.
Too.
I want to see him play under this new regime with another offensive coordinator. I do want to see what he can do.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. It's like, again, I wasn't necessarily on board with firing LaFleur. I'm the continuity, blah, 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 blah. But the fact that we did, I can allow myself to get excited for the idea of somebody coming in here that actually knows what they're doing, and then we don't have to watch them learn on the job. You know what I mean?
100%.
All right, Mike, after this one, I'm going to bring Watu on. I see there's a couple more, and we'll make sure that we get to every super chat. Gunny, if you got to bounce at 10, just let me know. No big deal. Just let me know, and then we can do the thing and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, Mike B, hi-ho, Jets fan checking in. What do you think about Nick Mangold as offensive line running backs coach, and what's the news about Aaron Rodgers? Now, Mike, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but I didn't know about running backs coach. Any thoughts on Nick Mangold being the running back coach as well? I mean, running game coordinator, because that was what John Benton was. He was the offensive line coach and running game coordinator. Any thoughts about him having an impact on that side of things?
See, now I feel like we're doing too much, right? Nick Mangold doesn't have any kind of like coaching history, right? So we're bringing him in right now just purely based off of the talent level he showed us as an offensive lineman, and of course being beloved by us Jets fans. This is a guy that showed elite traits and ability to operate in the capacity of an offensive lineman. To go ahead and have him go ahead and scheming up plays for running backs now too, as a running back coach, I don't know if that's something I would want to put on him coming in potentially as a first-time coach in the NFL, right? So I'm going to go with no. I don't think I want to go ahead and burden him too much. I don't want any of our coaches to feel like they're playing out of position. I think Buffalo Jet fans said it perfectly about Mike Lafleur, right? Like, this is a guy we know has the talent, has the ability, but unfortunately becoming an OC this early was above like where he should be at, right? Passing coordinator, running game coordinator, he was killing it. But making him an OC this early was potentially his downfall, right? It was just asking him to do too much. I don't want to do that to any other coaches that we're bringing on. Put them in their right place so they can go ahead and be efficient and functional in that role. Let's let Mangold do what we've seen him do. We don't know if he can coach it yet, but we've seen him do it. I'm willing to let him try to go ahead and be the offensive line coach. Now, let's leave the running backs coach to a different coach. Let's go ahead and do that.
There's no limit Right. There's no limit to the coaches. You can bring on X. You could bring on why, right. That's like a Kyle Shanahan thing where it's like, the running game coordinator, passing game. How about the offensive coordinator takes care of that? You got position coaches. And if you need a little help, you bring in another one. Like there's no limit. Bring in extra coaches. No reason to dump extra responsibilities on a guy, especially like Gunny just said, on a guy who's never done it before. Just let's get this all straight. No reason to overcomplicate this. Let's do it the tried and true way. That said, Mike, I'm really in love with the idea. Maybe it's emotion, but I love the idea of Nick Mangold being on the staff. Then we go get Chad Pennington as quarterback coach or something. Let's bring them all back.
Let's bring back all the classics. Let's bring them all back.
Mo Lewis as linebacker coach. Come on, let's get them back. I love my dudes. Arizona Jet checking in. All right, I want to bring Y2K on and he'll spend a few minutes with us doing a couple super chats, and then we'll get to some trivia. Y2K, you ready to come on? You guys know and love him. This is the president of the United States of America. Y2K, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show, my friend.
I don't know if they love me, but I think they tolerate me, and I'll take that for right now.
Hey, I love you, Y2K. What's up, man?
I love you too, Gunny.
Hey,
you and Green Bay. I love you both.
I'll tell you what, Y2K, people don't tolerate unless they love. So there's that. You know,
there you go.
Good point. That's a good point.
All right, so Y2K, I'll bounce this one to you.
Hey, Kareem, first. Love you too. Appreciate the support in the chat. Thanks, buddy.
There he is.
Love you.
So Arizona Jet says the NFC East and AFC West has 23 opponents. Can we make the playoffs if, say, we have Carr, but maybe a hard schedule and the O-line isn't quite right? What do you think our chances are? So we get the quarterback right. The offensive line still some struggles, but do you see this team with a quarterback having a good chance against those divisions, Y2K?
You know what? I think looking at the schedule right now is really, really premature. I mean, who thought at the beginning of the season, going against the NFC North and the likes in the AFC North, that the Jets would wind up playing, I think, either the fourth or the fifth hardest schedule in the NFL? When you look at strength of schedule, we played one of the absolute hardest schedules in the NFL. You can't predict where it's going to go year to year. Now, playing the NFC East right now, yes, that seems like a huge challenge. AFC West, the exact same thing. But we do get the fourth place schedule. We get Houston next year. We get Cleveland again. We get Pittsburgh. So that is all the more reason why they need to bring in a veteran quarterback to compete against these teams, because you can't have as flammable a player as Zach Wilson as your go-to quarterback. It can't be. That's why I'm so gung-ho on bringing in a Derek Carr more than anybody else with this team. I mean, you guys talked about Lamar and you did it very well. To me, the risk is way, way too high when you factor in the injuries. He's actually said himself today, he has an unstable knee. He used the word unstable going into the playoffs. Do we really think that knee is going to get better? Right. You know, he's not a quarterback who's proven he's going to win games in the pocket. He's like an older Justin Fields now. That's what I see in Lamar Jackson. And plus, you got to change your whole offense for him. I have no interest in that. So if we go with Derek Carr, bring in Greg Olsen, you know what? I'm willing to roll with that offense, bring back this running attack that we have, like 3 to 4 legitimately good running backs. Then all you really need, I wouldn't change the wide receiver room. I'm good with our top 4 to 5 receivers as they are. I wouldn't change it. There isn't much I would change besides the offensive line and the quarterback on this offense. And I'm serious.
I like it, man. Now, look, there's a comment in here by Steve Larson to go along with this. He says, Mims makes one catch and you got to stop it, Steve. That's untrue. He had the concussion. He missed the game. That's it. The whole year. He was there the whole year for us. And I think we got to lay off Mimsy. We should support the guy, man. And he's got all the talent in the world. But I'm with Y2K, man. I think that, look, we don't know what next year's really going to shake out like. Free agency, draft, all the stuff that goes on in the offseason. We looked at this year, the front end of this, we looked at it and said, there's a realistic possibility that we don't win a single game. we were 6-3. We thought the back half with the Bears and the Jags and all right, we made it to the safe spot and we won one game. So a lot of that has to do with us, but those teams were also streaking too. The Jags were on fire. The Lions were on fire. So you never know from year to year what teams are really going to look like. We always see, a team go to the Super Bowl and then there's that dip the next year a lot of times. So I think it's hard to really look that far ahead, but like Watu's K said, man, we get a quarterback in here. We have a lot of talent, and we're still going to draft. We're still going to bring guys in. We're still going to upgrade. But I think if the offensive line settles down and we get a quarterback that all we need is 65% completion percentage, more TDs than picks, and I think this is easily a 9-10 win team with the way it is now. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. Harry checking in. He will not root for the Jets with Tom Brady. Harry.
Hey,
no
that's my guy
me,
right
Harry.
there.
I can't argue with this.
That's my guy right there, Harry.
Harry's the man. So, all right. So, Gunny, you got to bounce out of here. So, why don't we do the giveaway if you're cool still with doing that? I'm going to go ahead. Of course. And all right. So, this is what we're going to do for the jersey. All right. We are going to number randomizer. Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do from 1 to 100, but it's going to be a little bit different. Okay. So we're going to find when someone guesses the number, you know what? Just whoever gets the number, that's who is going to win the jersey. We'll complicate it for the next one a little bit. So guys, starting, let me get to the bottom. Starting right now, Sir Robin is the first one. Go ahead and guess. I'll put it in the private chat so you guys can see what it is.
Oh, I'm not eligible?
No. Sorry. If you didn't come on the screen, you would have been.
It was worth a shot.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to be eligible. I want to be eligible. So let me take a look at the numbers, make sure I don't. Ooh, one was
very close. Very close. I'm watching. I got it. We got a winner. Got a winner.
Who is it?
We got a winner. Brees Hall.
Let me see.
We got a winner.
Where?
Wait, where did he go? I don't see it.
Yep, I don't see it. Got it. I got right before Tigo, in between Harry and Jet Engine. So you got to go up a little bit.
Let me see.
I'm looking at the number right in the chat.
The number I'm seeing
right here. I see it.
Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it. There it is.
Brees Hall just beat out Twisted with 36.
All right. So, Brees Hall, congratulations. You just won the AVT signed jersey from New York Jets Situation Report, Gunny himself. Dude, that's the coolest gift ever. Thank you so much for giving that away. Now, how do they get in contact with you so they can, you guys can exchange info and get that jersey out?
Yeah, all day. So you can either go ahead and send the information straight to GreenBean. This is his show. This is his channel. But you can go ahead and follow me on the easiest way is on Twitter, right? So New York Jet Situation Report on Twitter. Send me a DM with your name, the address. I'll have it in priority mail for you tomorrow. I will forward you a tracking number as well as a video of me sending it your way. I know a lot of people get really finicky about like these giveaways, like it's not real, it's not fake. That ain't my story. That ain't GreenBean story, and I refuse to go ahead and slander that man's name. So I will have your tracking number as well as a video of me putting it in the post office for you tomorrow. Priority mail should be there within 2 or 3 days. So you can either send it straight to GreenBean. He got my number. He can get it to me, or you can follow me on Twitter, New York Jet Situation Report. Send me a DM, and then I'll go ahead and get that out to you tomorrow.
Yeah, and there you go. And guys, look, let's send some love, man. Number one, he was a great guest tonight. But number two, he just gave out a signed AVT jersey. Take a second, go over to his YouTube channel and just hit that subscribe button if you wouldn't mind. Takes 3 seconds and it means the world. Gunny, I want to thank you for being here again. We'll have you on again real soon. I'll talk to you this week.
Awesome.
And what's the show that you're going to next?
Yeah, I'm actually about to jump off right here and go to the Flight Squad. I do that with the Italy Jet and DKBJX. We're going to go ahead and talk, again, Jets football, right? So this is a show I do every Thursday with these guys. We partnered up a couple months back, and we just kept it going throughout the season. So I'm jumping off to the Flight Squad next to go ahead and do our show. But again, you can go ahead and follow us with this once you're done here with GreenBean, of course. We'll be over there talking Jets football.
There you go. Gunny talking Jets till the wee hours of the night, baby. So there you go. It's New York Jets situation report. Thanks again, man. We'll talk this week and get you on again soon. But great to have you here, man. I really do appreciate it.
I appreciate it. This has been a blast, GreenBean, and the dream come true. Till next time,
man.
everybody.
We'll see you.
Well, my friend.
There he goes, Gunny, the New York Jets situation report. And again, guys, let's take a sec, go over there and give that page a follow. He's a great dude, man, and he's a Marine. His wife's a Marine. The poor guy's got 3 or 4. I forget if he said 3 of his kids.
4 kids, and only one's a Jets fan.
And only one's a Jets
only
fan,
one.
dude. He's living in a torture chamber over there. So let's go ahead and I'm going to bring Jeremy on as well if he doesn't mind. Balls be hurting, is a little upset with Brees Hall, lucky son of a gun. Jeremy, are you good with coming on and we'll do some trivia? All right, here he comes.
Jeremy bringing the Glenn Encyclopedia.
There he is.
Glenn Encyclopedia. I was hanging out with Glenn the other day. Seriously, we were talking about it.
Glenn's not real. He's
Snuffleupagus. No. He's real. He's real.
Hey! Bring him with you when you come to Raleigh in March. That's all I'm saying.
I look at Glenn as Snuffleupagus, man. Only one that can see him is Big Bird.
Well, I won't hurt the image. I'm never going to have him come on or never do anything. I will not kill the Snuffleupagus.
This is like the deep throat of sports trivia. Is Glenn? It's like no one's going to know his identity for 50 years.
He's just not the type of guy. He's not the type of guy that would want to be on camera. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And you got to get it. You got to keep the facade going. You know what I mean? So, all right. Anyway, guys, it is trivia time, but I want to get into Mr. Downtown right here quickly, guys. Are Judy and Samuel, I think he's saying Debo Samuel or the Samuel and Curtis Samuel, right?
Hi, Curtis.
Trade options, either one of you. Jeremy, I'll throw it at you first. Any interest, or do you think it's realistic? And would you bite on either one of those guys trading?
I don't know, because it's all like, I don't know how much years they have left until you have to pay them. We got some salary things going on, with Quinton Williams and now having to pay for a quarterback. There's some money things going on that we have to be really careful about, that we have to work out and figure those contracts out and who we're going to cut and who we're going to have left. I would feel more comfortable. I think, obviously Mims will have an opportunity. I think there's a chance that Corey Davis restructures. I think there's a lot of other options. I just don't see us going for somebody like trading draft capital or or signing another big contract for a wide receiver, because we've put a lot of capital into our wide receiver room already.
Yeah, makes sense. I tend to think the same thing. Look, like Y2K nailed it before, in my opinion. Not that, you don't, continue to bring in young talent and those kinds of things. But the truth is that we're going to have next year, we're going to have still a stable of young receivers. That Garrett Wilson year 2, Elijah Moore year 3, Denzel Mims year 4. Like these guys, in my opinion, I think Denzel Mims, dude, I think a new offensive coordinator is going to look at this guy and be like, of course I want to use. Like, what is this? 6'3", high jumping, 4.4 speed. Like, it's going to be a refreshing change in my. Well, that's my hope anyway. But I think we have a nice little stable of wide receivers, and let's see what this system can do with them, rather than going out there and trading assets when we have other needs, man, real needs. Offensive line, defensive tackle, big fat run stuff in defensive tackle. Maybe linebacker, definitely free safety. Those kinds of positions, I think, would take precedence. All right, so let's go. So Y2K, let me get this off my face. All right, hold on. Thank you, Manscaped. Let me see here. It only works in certain situations. Now it's just on my face. Where the hell did it go? There it is. All right. So, all right, the trivia rules are as follows. Y2K has spent the entire week scouring for secret little nuggets that he can share with us. He's going to go ahead, ask us a trivia question. We ask that no one uses a search engine or encyclopedia. Let's try to do this with our noggins. We have 4 minutes to answer the question. Let's see how we do. Y2K, the floor is yours.
All right. Now that we're into the offseason, we're going to start doing some draft-related Jets trivia questions. So your question tonight goes like this. In the Jets draft history, they have drafted 5 players who in their NFL careers have had 50 or more receiving touchdowns. 50 or more career receiving touchdowns. Name those 5 players. Your time starts now.
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. I need it again.
Yep. 5 players that the Jets have drafted in their history with 50 or more career receiving touchdowns. Name those 5 players. 50 receiving touchdowns or more.
Receiving touchdowns only?
Receiving only.
Oh, okay. I was going to go with Blair Thomas.
Well, you know it's going to be.
This doesn't count college.
You know that it's going to be the old timer guy from the Super Bowl.
Altoon is right. Maynard, right?
Maynard was never drafted by the Jets. He was drafted by the Giants.
Oh,
it's not Don Maynard.
Well, we know it's not Johnny Lamb Jones. I'm going to go with Ryan Jett here. He says Wesley Walker.
Wesley Walker is number 1 all time with 71.
Now, let me just clarify. Is this 50 receiving touchdowns for the Jets or in their
career?
Whole career?
That's why I said career.
Okay.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn is number 3 with 64.
Randilla and Stevie Ray Gaggy are throwing out Lavernius Cole.
This is a trap answer. Lavernius only had 49 touchdowns.
Terrible. How about Wayne Corbett wasn't drafted, so
Wayne
I guess
Corbett was not drafted, so Wayne Corbett does not count.
All right, well,
I see another correct answer in the chat. I see another, at least one more.
All right,
by a couple of people.
Who is it?
Santana Moss. Santana Moss is number 2 with 66.
All right, Chode Uglis had that one first. How about Brandon Marshall wasn't drafted by us, so we forget about Santana Moss, man. He actually had a pretty lengthy career. How about Jericho Cotchery, Watsuke?
Jericho Cotchery only had 34 touchdowns in his carear, so not quite.
How about Santonio?
Santonio was not a Jets draft pick. He was drafted by Pittsburgh.
Now, did you hear me say Toon? Is Toon in the list?
This hurts to say, but Altoon only had 31 touchdowns. He was just hurt so much, man.
His career was too short.
Yeah.
A bunch of bullshit.
It hurts me to say it.
Yeah. All right. So how many do we have? And can you go over the list again?
You have the top 3. You have Wesley Walker, 71, Santana Moss, 66, Keyshawn Johnson, 64.
Terrence Mathis.
Great job. Terrence Mathis, 63.
Nice.
Number 4 all time.
Okay.
People are guessing Mickey Schuler in the chat. I like that one.
Oh,
Mickey Schuler had 37 touchdowns.
Did you hear that, guys, though? I dug deep for Terrence Mathis, everybody.
You did.
I want applause.
Yep, that was a tough one to get, but you got him.
Rob
I
Moore.
knew someone would get it, but it is not correct. I know. It seems like the perfect sneak answer that I'd love to throw in. He was a supplemental draft, but he also had 49 touchdowns. Same as Lavernius Cole.
Oh, man.
I know. 49 for Rob Moore, but great. Yeah, I know it's a good one.
Now, let me ask you, did Curtis Martin, any chance he has that many receiving touchdowns?
I didn't check because he was drafted by New England.
Yeah,
there you go. How about Richie Anderson?
Richie Anderson, I didn't see his name, so it was less than 30.
How about Freeman McNeil?
Nope.
Dustin Keller.
Dustin Keller, I think, was in the high 20s, actually. Yeah, Keller didn't play very long.
George Sauer.
Only 28. Sauer only played 5 years. It's crazy to think that, but he only played 5 years before he retired.
Crazy. How about John Riggins?
Nope, not John Riggins.
Oh, I think it's going to be an old timer. We need help, old timer.
I'm going to run through the chat.
Kyle Brady. I like this answer.
No, it is not Kyle Brady.
What do you have, 5?
I'm running back through the.
Kyle Brady is better than people give him credit.
Oh, we just hit the time. I wasn't even.
Scotty McKnight.
Scotty McKnight. Just ahead of Ryan Yarborough, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, amazingly. How about one last guess from Arizona Jet, Curley?
It is not Jeremy Curley.
Dang it.
The next closest, by the way, outside was Rich Castor with 45. I think somebody mentioned Rich Castor.
People were guessing Castor, yeah.
The correct answer is the number 5 answer with 56 career touchdowns. He didn't catch one of them for the New York Jets. It was Tony Martin, who was drafted in 1989, cut immediately, went on to Miami and to San Diego and Atlanta, and he had a 12-year NFL career. Tony Martin.
And Victor Cruz
touchdowns.
Victor Cruz was undrafted free agent, right?
That's correct. And definitely not a Jets draft pick. Yeah.
Right.
Victor Cruz. I still have nightmares about him.
Amazing. Well, there you go, guys. I thought we had it. I really did. That was we went down swinging.
Kareem, stop being a douche. Thanks.
Who?
Kareem. He just likes to troll and just be,
don't even
not be nice.
It.
So
don't even acknowledge it. You're just being dumb.
Yeah.
Kareem, I'm going to put
Tony
you
Martin.
in a timeout if you don't do that. Okay, I'm going to put you in a timeout, and I'm going to get the dunce hat, and we're going to make you sit in the corner. So just stop.
I gave you. Yeah, Hawk, I gave you a little bit tougher one, but you did well last week. You all got the question pretty quickly the last week or two. So
I gotta say, I thought this was a great question. I don't, opinions outside be damned. I thought it was fun. I thought we had a shot, right, Jeremy? Like, you don't want it to be so hard that we're like, I don't know.
Yeah, that felt very like doable. Like it was a really like it didn't feel like, oh, it's impossible. How can you possibly know that? It's just that last one was tricky because he didn't play, so we don't remember him.
Well, when you got 270 people, when you got 270 people in the chat, it only takes one. To ace it. So I got to make it challenging.
That somebody would have remembered it, but that was it was tricky, but it was fun. It was perfect.
Yeah, and the fact that we didn't get it warms my heart and makes me honestly believe that we're not using search engines.
All right, you're going in timeout.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like we're trying. We're actually doing this.
You have me on live, so I can't call Glenn.
I know. See that? He couldn't call a friend.
I don't think he would have known that one though. I don't.
Yeah. Now, Brees Hall, I see your 2 super chats. Thank you. And we talked. So you sent me the email. As soon as we're done here, I'll send it over to Gunny. I'll get him your information and he'll ship that out. I want to remind everybody, Brees Hall, our injured running back, is in the chat. And he just won his teammate's jersey. Oddly enough, the guy who got injured in the same damn game or the same week that he did. So it's kind of weird. Cosmic connection here. I like it. I hate it, but I like it.
He guessed his teammate's number, his other teammate's number, Tony Adams, and got it.
Look at this.
And Derek Carr showed up. Our future all-pro quarterback showed up tonight. It was great to have him here, too.
It really was. He let us know that he just doesn't want to play in the cold weather. So you got to all right, now let's.
Hey, Woody, we got to build a roof on top of MetLife Stadium. Let's get on it right now.
Last subject of the day, very quickly. Not only did Nick Mangold reach out and say that he wants to be the Jets offensive line coach, but Chad Ochocinco Johnson reached out on Twitter and said, I want to be the Jets wide receiver coach. I would love to coach Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and who else did he say? One other guy. It wasn't Mims.
It wasn't him.
It was 3.
I think it might have been. It wasn't Barris. I think it might have been David. He didn't say.
Maybe
he didn't say Jeff Smith. That's for sure.
No, and it wasn't Mims either. So interesting. Maybe it was fucking Brees Hall.
It might have been Corey. No, it was a receiver.
It had to be Corey Davis.
I think it was Corey.
So yeah, man. So what do you guys think of that? Any interest? I mean, is it just bullshit? But if it was real, any interest? Y2K. I'll start with you.
You know what? I'm just glad that Chad Johnson, who's definitely always going to speak his mind, more than anything, it's expressing his respect for the offensive talent that we've acquired over the last couple of years. So with me, it's not so much that it's a serious, I don't like necessarily bringing in, not that Chad Johnson is, but bringing in our old guys as coaches, because I don't want to be in a position where I got to criticize them and get on them. Somebody mentioned Chad Pennington's my favorite Jet of all time. And a couple of people have mentioned, why can't we bring Chad in as quarterback coach? Well, because Chad has done interviews and he has expressed he doesn't want to coach in the NFL. And to be honest, I don't want him there because I don't want to feel like I'm in a position where I'm criticizing my guy, where I feel like he has to lose his job. Now, hey, what qualifications does Chad Johnson have to be a wide receivers coach? I don't know. But, if he wants to come in and be a cheerleader, that I feel like that's kind of his style. Then all the good for it. If he wants to come in for a day, show him some secrets on how to be great, I'm all for it. But coach is another level, and I don't know what Chad Johnson's qualifications are.
Yeah, I'm right there. What do you think, Jeremy? Anything different than Y2K?
Well, look, I want to start by saying I don't have any evidence that Chad Johnson can't be a great coach. I don't have evidence that he can't be. But the reality is it's not playing. Being a great player doesn't make you a great coach. Where's the resume? Where's the experience? Where's the evidence that he could be a teacher and be a coach? And And, that's the problem. The problem is there's a reason why we go, there's a structure to how you achieve certain positions in this world. And there's a lot of people who go through interning and making peanuts and working their tails off to do it. So I would love for him to hang out with them in the off season. That would be great if he wanted to do that. And if those players came back and said, he was amazing, he made me better and, taught me this and that, then, whatever they want to do. But I think Babe Ruth taught us, just because you do something really well doesn't mean you could coach it or manage it. Because if those of you don't know, Babe Ruth was an epic failure as a manager.
Did he get a chance?
Yeah.
That's the
It
thing.
wasn't in the majors.
I think it was Boston or Baltimore. I think he did.
He was like a part-time coach with the Boston Braves for like a little bit. He was like an assistant manager with Bill McKechnie. I can't believe I remember that name. I need help with Bill McKechnie, and then he retired. I don't know how long he stayed. He was like a third base coach with the Dodgers. I remember that with the Brooklyn Dodgers.
There's something that said
he wasn't a manager, but he was.
Said he was an awful coach.
Willis Reed is a good example as a coach. Bill Russell, those types of guys. Bill Parcells wasn't much of a college football player and became one of the best coaches of the generation. So,
right,
yeah, your point's well taken. Yeah.
Two different skill sets.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And I think Chad Johnson, outspoken, like who knows, man. It gets the going gets a little tough, and do we need that shit? Because look, you can talk about Miles Austin one way or the other. I mean, you look at the emergence of Garrett Wilson, unbelievable. The best rookie wide receiver we've ever had. But on the other side of that, you have the complete disappearance of Elijah Moore. Denzel Mims. So there's a Barrios dipped hard this year. So, there's a lot to be said on both sides. I think there is an opportunity to upgrade, and again, I'm not saying he was a bad coach necessarily, but there is a possibility that we can upgrade. You bring the offensive coordinator in. Now he gets to choose his offensive line coach. He gets to choose his wide receiver coach. I think that can go a long way. And maybe running backs coach. I don't know what we're doing there, if we're keeping somebody, but I just hope they keep Middleton. But I think Chad Ochocinco, let's keep him out there making funny quips and let's not bring him into the organization. I think it's more potential to go south than north. Not that south isn't good for vacations, right?
Yeah, he's not going to be willing to be some invisible, quiet wide receiver coach that you never hear, right? You never hear the names of these coaches. You think Chad's going to accept that?
Right, exactly. Now, Austin Powers, remind me, this is excellent.
I see what you did there.
You hit the right one?
Yes,
I did.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's the right one. Unless it was unless it was a rim shot.
That's what I want. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Austin Powers is going for the rim shot. Yeah, here we go. There it is.
There it is.
Oh, you got that one too. Yeah, or also what would be good is if you have the Price is Right buzzer after the contestant loses the game. That would apply also.
We have this one.
Boom, 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 boom.
How about this one? When you say, "Can we bring Chad Ochocinco on as a coach?" No. What do you think? Could you hear it?
Oh yeah, we heard that one.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, there it is. So okay, guys, we're gonna give away the Manscaped Weed Whacker, the finest nose and ear hair trimmer on the market. Now, look, I'm not supposed to tell you. I was told explicitly not to say this to you. That it won't give you any pulls. Look, there it is in Jeremy's hands right there. They say we cannot say that it's never going to give you a pull, but here's my experience with it. I've had a series of different nose hair trimmers in my life, right? You don't want to walk around with nose hair. And I've had a whole bunch. Every single one of them have done the teary-eyed pull at least a couple times. I've been using this one for a little while now.
Nothing.
And it's never happened. So I'm not going to say, right?
I could hear it chopping hair. Like you could hear it, but I feel nothing.
Yeah. Literally nothing. And, easy to clean also. That's important.
It is. It is important. And look, again, like it's not that it can't happen, but in my experience, it has not happened. And dude, that goes a long way with me. If you're going to do it, I mean, dude, that's like the word. I'm like terrified with some nose hair. I'm like, oh, here we go. You fucking brutalized. You know, this is about as good as it gets out there. So we're going to give this away. Here's how we're going to do it. I am going to do the number randomizer. I'm going to tell these guys. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the member list. I'm going to open up the member list and I'm going to go down the line to that number. And whoever it is wins the weed whacker. Okay. So I'm going to use the number generator right now, 1 to 100. Well, I don't have to only tell you guys. I can tell everybody because now it doesn't matter. So it's the number 18. Okay. So there it is. Okay. Now I'm going to go into my member list here. Let's see. Go to my little spot over there. Subscribe, not members, subscribers. Sorry, I was using the wrong word.
I don't think we all need to put numbers in the chat for this one.
Nope. We don't need to do it.
So we don't need the numbers this time, guys.
So, oh, good. I'm glad it isn't Giants guy. He's the Bills channel. No. We can't give it to them. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What did I say? 18, 11, 18. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17,
Glenn?
18.
Glenn.
What's that?
Was it Glenn?
It is Glenn.
Get out of here.
No. So all right, I just moved off the channel. All right, it is Rat Diddy. Is Rat Diddy in the chat? Is Rat Diddy in the chat? Remember it.
I don't think I've ever heard of Rat Diddy.
I don't know either. I don't
know. He's not here right now. I could tell you that much.
All right. Well, we'll do it for a couple more days. In the event Rat Diddy does not contact me, I will be giving it away again, maybe in next week. If I don't get a winner this week, I'll do it to just in the chat. But I want to give it away to any subscriber. That's the whole thing. It's most important that it goes to a subscriber. Not everybody in the chat is a subscriber, Jeremy. That's what I've learned. A lot of them, not everybody.
Rat Diddy sounds like the kind of guy who could use a nose and ear hair trimmer. You know what I'm talking about?
That's right, Rat Diddy. You can use it. So let's see here, real quick. So did you check and see if Rat Diddy was in the chat? You already did that?
Nobody in the chat knows who this is. This is like a phantom or something.
Well, I mean, I did a search like the @, and it didn't fill.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. Hey,
Rat Diddy Combs.
Now let me see. I'll tell you what. We're gonna find a second person. If Rat Diddy doesn't claim it, let me see here. Who the hell we got? All these new guys. They don't hang out with us a lot.
John Nolte says that his nose hair is going to be 2 feet long when this giveaway ends.
I know. Well, it's only been a week.
John, how long is the nose hair now?
Well, it's only been a little over a week. We'll see.
Rat Diddy.
Rat Diddy. All right.
Jeremy, I think that's J. Cole's new account.
I know. That's the whole thing. Somebody's going to make a fucking new account. But anyway, that's the way that it goes. Rat Diddy, you are the winner. I hope you watch this stream and you contact me. The email to contact me is in the description of every video that I do. Go ahead, email me, say, hey, I'm the dude. And we'll go ahead and do it that way. So, all right, guys, that's going to be the end of our delightful stream. Again, I want to thank Gunny for popping on. New York Jets situation report. You can just put that in the search engine on YouTube and you will find him. Go ahead and give him a sub. Give him some likes. He deserves it, man. He's a good dude and he knows his shit. And his wife is, again, his wife and kids are all Packers fans, man. You got to help this guy out. So that said, Jeremy, what do you got cooking this week? Anything you want to tell anybody about?
Just that Dom C and I are going to be starting our Sunday night show where Dom is going to be reviewing different positions out of the college class coming into the draft. So we were going to be talking about each week a different position, talking about different players. We'll do some mock drafts just for the purpose of bringing up players' names to talk about those players. More for that purpose than the actual draft. We'll save that for when he joins you and you could talk about what you're doing.
I was going to say, it's starting to sound a little bit about what I do with Dom C, but whatever. Go ahead, keep talking.
But his is going to be more focused on not so much the mock draft, but just talking about players coming out of college in different positions.
All right, there you go. So Y2K, do you have a special something you want to let everybody know about?
Well, I will be doing a video for tomorrow, making my wild card picks. I've been making picks every single week this year, and that's not going to stop with the playoffs going on. And for those baseball fans out there, particularly Mets fans, I'm starting to do a series breaking down different New York Mets prospects. I'm talking about their scouting report, their history, where I project them to play in 2023. I've already done one on Brett Beatty, who has a very good chance to start at third base for the New York Mets this season. I'll be breaking down a potential reliever who has never been in the big leagues that nobody really knows about, but I saw him pitch in Norfolk last year, and I think he might be able to hit the majors this year. So watch for that to come out probably by Friday, definitely by Saturday.
There it goes, and that's on New York Sports Wicker Media. And don't forget, the Jeremy channel is Jets Chaos. I want to remind everybody, this coming Monday, a mere few days away, is the inaugural Monday Night Mock for this 2023 offseason. We're back, and it's going to be a good season, man. Don't forget, the Monday Night Mock is the best because it changes every week. We pick a theme every week. I put out polls, and we function as if certain scenarios are happening, and that's what makes it so good. Dom C is going to be helping us out this year and make it that much better. But guys, look, it's funny. Rusty Spooner says, do a quick mock. Quick mock. Quick.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as a quick mock with GreenBean.
Not when we don't know anything about anybody.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, that all said, let me get this off here. I want to thank everybody for being here. Everybody with the super chats, thank you. All the new members, I want to thank Jet Engine for giving you guys so many new memberships out there. That's pretty badass. But with that all said, have a great night, everybody. We will see you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby. I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over there and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.